disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. Just, I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
Just kill the fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. Got nothing.
I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
Welcome everybody to the Boxing Podcast, broadcasting to you live from the true north. It's a good friend, Mr. BDA, and I sure am glad that everybody could be on board for this one, fellas. In this episode, we've got a fantastic one for you, as we're going to be talking about putting the last touches, the finishing touches on the Virgil Ortiz-Bohachuk fight, which is on. It is on for tomorrow. Virgil Ortiz made weight, so did Bohachuk, so everything should be hunky-dory for tomorrow, fellas. We're going to talk about that, all of the drama. We're going to be opening up the phone lines right away. And we're going to be inviting a couple of people that usually aren't part of the normal roster, the starting lineup, as it were. So make sure to tune in for that one. Maybe you'll get invited. You never know. Maybe you get the golden invite for today's show. Now, before we continue on with the festivities here, I want to address the people. Yeah, we were late because, as you can see, the chat, it's not the usual layout that we use. Not to overcomplicate things too much, but YouTube did an update. And they changed something which prevents us from customizing our chat. So this will get resolved in time until OBS releases an update. But until then, this is the best we've got. Now, what I can always do is I can always read more comments. This is going to give me a chance to read more comments. And I can actually just put them on the top page here, marquee, and put your comments on a pedestal. Because usually I only do this when somebody super chats or when I find something particularly good so that we have to stump the action for it. But today is an anything goes type of show. So I guess this is a good opportunity to try that out a little bit more. Don't forget to check us out on Spotify, iTunes, and Spreaker at your leisure. If you want to donate a couple of shekels our way, you're certainly welcome to do so. And let's give a big shout out to everyone in the chat. Jacques Cousteau, shout out to Jacques Cousteau, one of the initiated. Alfredo Contreras, the Can Man. I Hate Never Sobers. Bevoldem Executioner, Mark T, Bray, Heavy Chevy Guy, Ralph Unreal, Nightmare, one of the initiated. The Quags, another one of the initiated. Geo Coaching for Jesus. KC Boxing, Mark T, OG Blaze, The Real Never Sobers, Rapax Trucking Company, another one of the initiated, Gene Ryu Jr. 33, Vladdy V, I Hate Never Sobers, Baron Evola, shout out to Baron Evola, Rapax Trucking Company, 10-4, Dark Heido, another one of the initiated, shout out to him, James Burrell, So Passive Live, Mars, Antonio Hernandez, Frankie Sainz, another one of the initiated. How many more people to come, I'm sure, fellas. Thank you for joining us, really appreciate it. And like I said, we're going to be opening up the phone lines soon. No, actually soon. I'm talking right now, but let me just invite a couple of people first. And then I'll get on with opening the phone lines so that you guys can call in, give us your thoughts on anything and everything. Boxing. And like I said, I was very happy to see that Virgil Ortiz made weight. Because Virgil Ortiz, I like watching the guy fight. We're going to get down to his character a little later, but at least in terms of watching him fight, I really enjoy watching him fight. But one thing for sure is you just never know if he's going to show up for the fight. I mean, the Stanionis ride was quite a journey. It was in the middle of the fight week that he pulled out. And then it wasn't the first time he pulled out of a fight. And so then that, and if you question him why he pulled out or you dare to speculate about why he pulled out. He gets real aggressive over it. So I guess he fights. He acts outside the ring the way he fights. He doesn't take no guff from anybody, which I can appreciate. But I mean, I think the questions are valid. Well, is this guy okay? Can he make the weight? People were pointing out that he looked a little gaunt, just a little bit. He looked a little gaunt during fight week here, during the weigh-in. So you gotta wonder if the guy's prepared. You gotta wonder how long he can go for in that ring. We'll see. All right, the phone lines are open here. So if you want to call in, the phone number is right there in the left-hand middle portion of your screen. Now, let me just invite a couple of people over here. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. And you know what? If you want to give a couple of predictions about who you think pulls off the win tomorrow for that fight, make sure to let me know. Very interested in what you guys have to say about this fight, because it is a good fight, and unfortunately it's just one of the top fights we've got until maybe September, because after this Saturday we have Christian Mbili, super middleweight contender, fighting. And you know, I like Mbili, but he's fighting a guy in Davidenchenko who might be shot at this point, or if not shot, on his way to being, I mean, he's damaged goods. The guy's been in there with everybody: Daniel Jacobs, Golovkin, Kolke, who else? Charlo, Adames, Munguia. This dude just doesn't give, you know, I mean, I guess he needs the money. I don't know. It's maybe he needs money for those crew cuts that he gets to look like Frankenstein. So I don't know. We'll see what happens there. See, we got Frank jumping on the show. Frankie, are you there?
Hey, salute, BDA.
What's up, man? So what's your prediction for tomorrow's fight between Ortiz and Bohachuk?
I think it'll be a contrast. We're going to get a nonstop banger as opposed to last week's kind of chess match. I think Virgil's going to stop this guy. I think the making weight was the biggest aspect. Everybody was on pins and needles. He looked emaciated the other day. I think we all seen his sunken in face. But now he looks strong. It looks like there's bad blood. So it's going to be a banger.
I agree, man. I think it's going to be good. And both guys, interestingly enough, weighed in at 153.8 pounds. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Now, I was wondering, was this a ceremonial win?
Yes, I think I seen it was at actually 10 a.m.
Yeah, because I saw on Twitter. Yeah, because I think I saw on Twitter Cali X saying that Virgil Ortiz had made weight, and then on top of that, the reason why I bring that up is because he didn't look bad in the weigh-in, Ortiz. I thought he was gonna look, you know, like you said, emaciated. I thought he was gonna look gaunt, and no, he looked okay. So I'm thinking, yeah, wait a minute, what's up? What's going on here? He can't look that good. And,
maybe he overtrained. That's something that was the biggest thing. They always said he overtrained. It was never his dad or trainers. He just kept going. He just stayed in the gym and lived in the gym without fighting. But I seen, because I think the bad blood, Sergey Bohachuk, I think he was on Steve Kim's podcast, wasn't he? Like, yeah. That's when he was talking shit about Virgil.
Well, what'd he say though? I don't remember.
There was going to be six-figure. Just that he was unprofessional for not making weight.
Oh.
I think that's what I remember. But I seen there was going to be six-figure penalties had Virgil for either guy, but especially Virgil not making weight, because he hadn't made 154 officially. The first two fights of the year, I think, were at 155 or 156, so they were really had kid gloves on them.
You know what though? I also heard somebody said it on the Discord that it was because Bohachuk was also talking smack on Snow Queen's interview channel, whatever, YouTube, which I didn't know she was still around. So, I mean, I'm looking for the interview here. Maybe we can take a gander at it. I wrote Bohachuk. Oh, excuse me, I misspelled his name. Bohachuk Snow Queen. No, I don't see anything. Wasn't it Madrimov though that talked shit about Ortiz?
It was Madrimov that said he had an easy time with him in sparring. He said he was playing with him.
So that Madrimov says he had an easy time with Ortiz.
Yeah, he said they were just playing around in there.
Oh, okay. So this is a different type of stuff going on here then. Yeah, we're getting confused. But anyway, what do you guys think about that? About Virgil Ortiz refusing to shake hands with Ortiz a couple of days ago at the final press conference?
I don't know if he's been it's like it's incel energy, bro. I don't Virgil's a nice guy. I don't know if he's trying to turn heel to try to get people on his side or give like the world a new look, but he's kind of a nerd and he just needs to keep the nice guy thing. He doesn't even look he doesn't even look intimidating when he's scowling. Right? So I don't know. I kind of don't like that about him that he's doing that right now, but I mean, we'll see what happens.
If he would have been, let's say Bohachuk's hand would have looked like an ass, do you think Ortiz would have shaken it, or do you think he would have done more than shaking it? Maybe just, jumped on it.
He would have put his face right on it and started sucking on it.
Well, you know what? That's what I'm saying, though, because it seems like he's into some, it was unusual for him to do that, to refuse to shake the guy's hand. So
there's nothing wrong with the BDA.
Was that?
There's nothing wrong with it. It's nothing wrong with it.
About shaking the guy's hand? Well, I don't know. It's about respect. If you shake a guy's hand,
Oh no, the other thing.
Talking about eating the booty like groceries?
Yeah. I mean, what you do behind closed doors is kind of your thing. Now, how the picture got leaked, that's another thing. I don't know why you would let somebody do that. Take pictures of it.
I can't imagine that picture being real, because who took it, first of all?
You can see the girls taking the picture.
It doesn't know, man. It looks, I don't know. It looks a little bit. Something about this photo looks photoshopped.
Pull it back up, BDA. I'm an expert at this shit. You see where you look at her right arm. You see how it's going down. She's holding the camera.
It looks like it could be a performance piece.
Even her face, even that smile. She's closing her eyes and smiling. That's a fake smile, trying to look natural.
So it
looks like he's done it before. That's the only thing.
You're saying he forced her. He had his way with her, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Interesting. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know what's going on there. But be that as it may, we're starting to see a whole new Ortiz here. He's starting to open up the way he opens up those ass cheeks. He's showing us that he's got a mean streak. He's showing us that he's tired of people questioning his work ethic and his ability to show up to the fight without pulling out, just like he would pull his tongue out maybe out of a certain crevice. So he's really showing us different angles here. What do you guys expect tomorrow? Are we going to see a short fight like we've usually seen from Ortiz, or can we actually see a couple of competitive rounds?
I think it'll go just that they're going to feel each other out, and then they're going to inch closer and closer, and it'll be in close quarters. But Virgil Ortiz really doesn't take a step backwards. I don't see him. He has a great jab, so he tries to establish his jab. And Bohachuk, he went. How many rounds did he go with Mendoza? And Mendoza wasn't a killer, so it's not like he has one punch knockout power. But Ortiz should stop this guy. He needs to stop him if he wants to set up a Zoo fight or a Crawford fight. He needs to look like what they're saying he is.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. Sobers, what do you think, man? Do you think you think Bohachuk is gonna be strong enough? Because I don't know about the speed. What do you make of Bohachuk's speed?
I think they're similar in speed. I don't think Virgil's particularly fast at any weight he's been at.
Oh yeah.
So it's more his timing and the punch, his punch.
His punch what?
Yo, I can't fucking talk while you're playing that. Bro.
No, you said his punch. What about do you think Bohachuk's punch power can rival Ortiz's?
Maybe not rival it. Like you don't have that. Maybe he can't knock him out. But he could probably get his respect. He was putting hands on Mendoza.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, you know what? That's a good point because Frank just said, well, Mendoza wasn't all that. And I sort of agree because really, if you look at Mendoza, what's he done? I mean, he gave Ramos a couple of competitive rounds, but then essentially just spent the rest of once he ran out of gas, he just spent the rest of the fight running. He was getting beat up by Fundora, but he pulled out a left hook. Good for him. He got beat by Tim Tszyu. Now he lost to Bohachuk. You know what I mean? So it's how, he's a good contender, but beating him is not exactly like, whoa, you beat the number one guy in the division, or you didn't beat the guy that makes you the man now in the division.
No, but I think it's a good test, because he's shown that he's not. You can't just knock him out. and he's also shown that if you sleep on him, he'll knock you out.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, so I think it's a really good test for Bohachuk. It showed where he's at, and you know, I would like to see how Virgil does against somebody like Mendoza after this fight. To be honest,
interesting. Yeah, that's a good point.
But you mentioned something, BDA, about Virgil. You know, Virgil's defense is his offense. He's been known to get caught in between punches. You know, he likes to get ultra aggressive. You can't catch him coming in. So Virgil, hopefully he learned, because Bohachuk's not a guy you could just, you know, steamroll. And that's been his last two fights. You're going to have to be patient, establish a jab. Basically, Virgil's going to have to box. He's going to have to beat, like what we seen Royo did. You know, Royo changed his game 360 in order to beat Pitbull. He would never have won exchanging. So Virgil, as he's climbed the ladder, is going to have to be more defensively sound.
Absolutely. That's a great point. And that's why I was saying in the last show that his jab is really his ace in the hole here, because it allows him to maintain the center of the ring while winning and piling up points, whereas some other pressure fighters lack that advantage or that tool. Some of these pressure fighters don't have a good jab, but Ortiz does. So I'm really curious to see how he looks, because this is coming off the heels of Terence Crawford's fight, the chess match, as everyone's calling it, the chess match against Israel Madrimov. So a lot of pieces on the chessboard are moving, and Ortiz and Bohachuk certainly are two of the most important pieces in that division. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. I want to remind people that the phone lines are open. So if they want to call in, give us their thoughts on the fights coming up or anything they want to talk about. By the way, I really hate this chat, man. I mean, not the people in the chat, mind you. I'm talking about the layout. YouTube, you better fix this, man. They changed something. They changed the code without telling anybody. Then it screws everything up. Look how it looks. And I hate how it looks. Let me read a couple of comments first before we go to the phone call, because I need to read the people's chats. I need to get some feedback. I need to know what's going on in the boxing world. Nerd says Bohachuk is too slow. Ortiz has to take him out early or he will get easy. Isaac Bermuda says motherfuckers watched the Human Centipede and decided that eating ass is something special. Do you think the Human Centipede movie had something to do with that? Maybe the critics in the 1990s were right. Movies do ruin the youth. Maybe we should start blaming movies again, the media. Dante Merlo says Virgil eating good. He certainly is, man. He had 2 helpings of ass the other night, from what I hear. Ralph Unreal says Frankie called him Rollo. Yeah, Frank, you call him Rollo. Rollo de papel, you know, toilet paper roll. Come on, man. Rayo.
El Rayo?
That's right.
Did I not say it correctly?
I don't know.
Excuse me, pardon.
That's what he says. I mean, I don't know. I'm just going with what people are saying. Protector General says Ortiz has a tight guard and okay head movement. Yeah, do you guys agree with that? That his tight guard is good, but the movement's really, it's like so-so a little bit.
I mean, it's all right. He's not particularly like fast on the defense. Like Frank said, his defense is his offense. You know, most people are more worried about trying not to get knocked out by him than to like really try to capitalize on his holes. But you know, a guy that can take his punch and stand there, maybe Bohachuk can take it. He's gonna give him a real fight.
Well, hey, man, we'll see, man. We'll see. I'm gonna show you people a couple of clips there just to illustrate some of what we're talking about. Before we do that, let's get to a phone call here. Let's get to 347. 347, you're on the air. 347, what's on your mind?
What's up, gentlemen? It's NPR. How you guys doing?
Oh, NPR, man. What's up?
Okay, so I just want to talk about some Bohachuk, and specifically, I think we know what we're getting at because we're more familiar with Virgil. But he's in this style that is kind of in between something. I don't even know what to call it. But the pendulum step is based on, you know, we call that Soviet style. It's the pendulum step.
Right.
Of course, we know some of its advantages and disadvantages. But one of the problems that I see from him, and since the last time I called, I had a chance to look at about 3 fights of his, including the one he got knocked out in. And immediately, even before I realized, I didn't know this guy very well. So I took a look at it, and what I found is that he crowds his own work and unnecessarily exchanges, whereas he's giving up all these advantages that the pendulum has to offer, which is really a lot considering that he's usually the taller fighter, much taller fighter at that weight. So I found myself immediately saying, well, why are you giving up? Why are you giving up your height? Why are you giving up your height? And then boom, the first fight I watched is the one he got knocked out on, and he got knocked out with a left hook. Now, Manny Robles, I think, is the trainer for this guy in the corner. In a different fight, had been telling him, "Don't crowd your own work. Take your time." And so he continued to crowd his own work and engage in unnecessary close exchanges. That's one of the issues that I have with him. Now he subsequently fixed some of it by holding the phone with his hand closer to his face, and so that knocked some of the sting out of those left hooks that were coming at him. But then he's got another problem because Virgil is a brutal body attacker. And as I say, he's going to be giving up those advantages and exchanging close where he doesn't have to. His best bet is to do what Bivol does, right? When we think about Bivol, we think about that's the ultimate expression of the pendulum step. Whereas is you constantly keep guys at your end of your punches and you're in and out, in and out, in and out, quick exchanges and so forth. Well, I don't see that from him. I see a guy unnecessarily taking chances. So that's the bad news for him. The good news for him is that if he does somehow manage to occupy Virgil for the first 8 rounds, something like that, first 8 rounds, and just stay in there. The odds increase as time goes on because the guy's got great conditioning. He's got wonderful conditioning, and conditioning for Virgil may be a question. In either case, I'm going to give a little prediction here, and I'm going to say body shot is going to be what's going to really hurt this guy. If not that, look for the left hook against this guy because he, as I say, he takes unnecessary risks, and his only real power is delivered in the 1-2. That's to be associated bread and butter. So that's my opinion on the fight. I predict it's going to be a Virgil win, and an early one, and it's going to be by a body shot.
Interesting.
All right, gentlemen, take care.
All right, great breakdown, NPR. Thank you for calling in, man, and call back next time. Yeah, NPR makes a good point here. Bohachuk is a go-getter. He's usually you think, okay, Ukrainian, tall guy, he's 6 feet tall, which is tall, relatively tall for the weight class. He's gonna box from the outside. Nah. This guy is like Virgil Ortiz. Puts his hands up, wants to work his way on the inside. Except, difference is, just like NPR pointed out, he's an all-the-way inside guy. Whereas Ortiz can throw the 1-2 left hook and then boom, goes back to the jab. Boxer-puncher, essentially. Bohachuk appears to be just a straight-up slugger. So it's going to be interesting to see if he tries to switch it up. I don't think so. I think in his mind, he believes, I'm stronger, he's coming up, I'm better than he is, I'm going to take the fight to him. And we're going to really get down and rock and roll. That's what I'm expecting in that one. Fellas, don't forget to hit the like, really helps us out. The other thing that I wanted to bring up about that is, well, if you look at the records here, both guys are close to or right about to be in their prime. Like, for example, Ortiz, he's 26, so he's still not in his physical prime, whereas Bohachuk is 29 to 31. That's usually a man's physical optimum, his peak. And so that's where he appears to be. I don't know if you guys saw, and listen, Bohachuk has 24 wins, 1 loss, 23 knockouts. The only guy he could knock out was Brian Mendoza. So we're going to be seeing 2 guys here who can definitely bang. And even though Bohachuk's level of competition is slightly inferior to Ortiz's, nevertheless, quite good. Shout out to Jane Ryu Jr. 33 for his contribution with the super chat. Shout out to him. He says, "Salute, Mr. BDA. Keep up the great work. Go get yourself some hamburger helper with this. I got Virgil by KO round 5 to 6. Whoa, okay. There's a prediction right there from Jane Ryu Jr. 33, going with Virgil middle of the fight. And officially, I'm telling you, I'm going to go get some hamburger helper with that money, but I may just pull a Victor Ortiz and get myself a slice of ass. What you think about that? Mr. BDA is gonna get some ass too, man. Why not? And yes, female ass.
Hey, ass is good.
That's what I'm
saying.
saying.
Does the body good.
That's what I'm saying.
Anybody?
Well, let's
give you pink eye.
All right, let's
you
not
can
get
live
into
with that.
What I wanted to bring up here was, okay, so we were talking about the records. We're talking about both guys being big dudes. What else I wanted to bring something up. Fuck. What was it? Anyway, we'll get to it.
I think the ass gets you distracted, BDA.
Yeah, no, it really
I'm
did.
starting to think Frank is a booty eating connoisseur, bro.
I think so, man.
Hey! I said behind closed doors. Gentlemen's never speak.
Well, of course, you're not going to eat ass in front of everybody in the middle of the street. But
if you want tips, though, hit me in the Discord.
There you go. Yeah, that's the type of depravity goes down in the Discords. But yeah, okay. So NPR, I think it was something to do with NPR because he said that Bohachuk is going to take it to him, and at the end of the day, Bohachuk is there to be hit. And Virgil Ortiz, I think it was Frank who mentioned that Ortiz's offense is really his defense because he's the one that takes it to guys, and they're afraid to open up against him. But he does actually have a good sort of, everyone brings up short fighters who have high guards, and they go, "Oh, he's Tyson-esque." Like Pitbull, for example. People are saying, "Oh, they compare it to Mike Tyson," but Pitbull didn't move the head. Ortiz, if you look at him, he actually really does do the peekaboo a little bit more closer to Tyson than anyone else right now. He puts his hands up and actually does move and the torso left to right. Whereas other guys like Canelo doesn't do that. Canelo will have the guard and then he'll wait for you to throw the punches and then he'll start moving the waist. This dude Ortiz just moves it left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, like a pendulum. And so that's closer to what Mike Tyson used to do with the peekaboo, or Jose Torres behind him. So it's still something difficult to figure out because you really have to throw punches and bunches to catch him in the middle. What else was I going to say? Oh, shout out another...
You have to be unafraid.
No, exactly. Yeah, you're right.
NPR, it made some good points. Yeah, Bohachuk leaves his body open. He smothers his work sometimes. Virgil, as you were saying, Virgil is great at distance. He needs to. The jab helps him set that distance. That's his ultimate game plan.
And that's the thing. We're going to look at some video just to illustrate what we're talking about. But even when he does get on the inside to fire hooks and uppercuts, he'll go back to the middle of the ring or long range to reestablish his attack. He's never a guy that spends the time all the way on the inside, whereas Bohachuk does. That's what he does. He wants to be inside. He wants to be head to head.
I would try to get this.
The fuck was that? Shout out to London Music and Grime for his contribution with Super Chat. He says, Cepeda versus Shakur is next, apparently. Salute to the Turk. Yeah, salute to first of all, salute to London Music and Grime. Shout out to you. Really appreciate your contribution. And yeah, so the Turk is very adamant about making the big fights. We're all happy for that. But right now, there's a bit of a divide going on in the boxing world. And we talked about this on Frank's podcast the other day. What was it, yesterday or 2 days ago, Frank? I forget. But anyway,
I believe Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so Wednesday. So more things have transpired since then. More and more people are weighing in, voicing their opinion. Some people are blaming Canelo and believing what the Turk said, that supposedly Canelo priced himself out. Other people now have turned on the Turk, saying, who the heck does this guy think he is? Going around, grabbing people's hands, grabbing other stuff as well behind closed doors probably. Who does he think he is to go around molesting fighters and ordering them around like he owns them? So what have you guys changed your minds since the last time we talked about this? Anything new come about for you? What do you guys, what's your feeling on this?
I just want to say about it, I knew everybody was going to catch on eventually, and I'm sure I wasn't the first person to say it, but I do remember saying that, it's only a matter of time before this dude tries to tell us that someone like Hamza Shiraz is pound for pound number one. And when I would say that was, how long I would mean when I say that was how long before he puts his personal interest in this sport besides just saying, I want to see the best fight the best.
Right.
You know, and it didn't take too long. It took like less than a year. You know what I mean? He's putting pictures of himself, glorifying himself, saying, I'm the face of boxing. He buying his way into the Hall of Fame, forcing them to like give him a belt. You know what I mean? Next we're gonna see him in the ring with he's gonna be sparring with with Anthony Joshua, and you're gonna see him knock him out. You know, that's how this shit's gonna get. That's how
he's gonna set himself up. He's gonna set himself up for. He's gonna make himself a champion. He's gonna create a new belt for him, champion of the universe, and he's gonna knock Anthony Joshua out. He's gonna force people to call him that every time he sees him, because he already forces people to call him the Great Turk Al-Sheikh or His Excellency. Next up, the next logical conclusion is him calling himself the champion of the universe. That's what he's gonna do. Well, you know what things could.
I
be
agree,
worse.
bro. And that's what always kind of put me off about him. Anybody who like wants that kind of title or like who's like used to that, that's the way you have to address me. You can already tell he looks down on everyone around him, and that's how you can see how he treats the boxers and even the promoters to an extent. You know what I mean? Like you can just you see how he treated Shakur Stevenson. He was very dismissive of him and Eddie Hearn in that exchange. You know?
Yeah, it really was, huh? What did he say again? It's like, did you talk to him?
Well, he's royalty.
Yeah, but what did he say again to Eddie Hearn? He didn't even talk to Shakur Stevenson directly at first. He just told Eddie Hearn.
So look, when they walked up, Eddie Hearn was like, "This is Jared Anderson's friend," you know, and then Shakur just started smiling like, I'm that guy, and Turkey kind of just said, "Are you? I need a yes or no right now. I'm not playing games. I need to work quickly. Yes or no right now," and then. So I was like, yeah, I'm ready. And Eddie Hearn was kind of looking like, wait, what? Like, like Eddie Hearn didn't even expect that.
Yeah, he bypassed.
So it really wasn't a conversation. It was, I need a yes or no right now. Are you ready?
Holy shit. Yeah, man, he's playing at another level. The Turk is. I mean, he's letting these guys know I'm not playing games. That's why I sort of understand where we're coming from with Canelo Alvarez, because Canelo is the guy that's used and accustomed to telling these guys, hey, you wait for my call. And I think he found it disrespectful that the Turk did what he probably does to other people, which is, hey, I'm calling you when you stepping up, motherfucker. And Canelo was like, you don't call me motherfucker. You don't call me motherfucker. Fuck you. Don't talk about my mother. Remember, that's what you told Killer Plant. So maybe I'm imagining that's how things went down. Before we continue on with that, though, things could be worse. I mean, these guys at least are getting good fights. And if they save their money correctly, they won't have to do something that our old friend Floyd Mayweather has to do now. Did you guys see this? Come meet Floyd Mayweather. Exclusive bottle signing at Costco Wholesale at Lakewood Center Mall in Lakewood, California. So if you're in the area, if you're near Lakewood, California, on Saturday, August the 10th, that's tomorrow, between 2 and 4 p.m., you can see TBE, TMT himself as well, going in there. And you can shake hands with greatness. What do you guys think?
Sponsored by the Good Money Foundation. You see that, BDA?
The Good Money.
Is he on equal footing of the... Well, you don't know what Costco is, do you, BDA? Do you know what Costco is?
Now, why do you say that? Because I'm Mexican? I don't know what Costco is?
No, because you're in Canada.
Yeah, there's Costco's here, believe it or not. There's also electricity.
Oh, okay.
There's cars. We have TVs, computers. Believe it or not, yeah. Okay. We're not living in igloos here in Canada, man.
You're not in the Appalachians. Yeah, well, there's like ladies when you walk around, they hand out little hors d'oeuvres. You can make a day of it. Go get, some bagel bites on a toothpick. That's what Floyd Mayweather's doing. He's equivalent to handing out hors d'oeuvres at Costco. That's going out. And where's Lakewood? I've never heard of this place.
Well, that's the thing. Hey, Frank, I never asked you, where are you? Are you in the California area?
I am in, California.
And you don't even know where Lakewood is. So it's that obscure a place.
As I heard of Linwood, isn't that? I heard of Linwood, I think. Whoa. But I've never heard of Lakewood.
Jeez, so where the fuck? So it's in the middle of nowhere then?
I don't know. I don't know if it's in an urban area, if this is near a major city.
Well, here's people are saying, is that real? Check it out. This is from Fox 31, an affiliate. It's a press release, I think. Presswire Newsmatics. Good Money LLC hash Floyd Mayweather strikes big again, entering the wine and spirits world at the retail giant Costco. An event for Floyd Mayweather. Join us for an unforgettable afternoon. Oh, I'm pretty sure he'll never forget it either. At Costco Wholesale in Lakewood, California, with Floyd Mayweather and the Good Money team. Don't miss this exclusive opportunity to get your bottle of Good Money whiskey and Le Bon Argent champagne signed and picture taken with the champ. Look at that. Good Money whiskey and Le Bon Argent champagne. Interesting. So, Frank, are you gonna leave today to try to get there first and beat the lineup, or are you gonna get there?
I am. I have some trunks that I need him to sign. See if I can get make a buck off him. Get some memorabilia signed, and I can sell it on your show.
Are those gonna be used trunks, or are you gonna wash them first, or are you gonna make him? Earn it? Are you gonna make him earn it? Is what I'm saying.
No, I'm good. Maybe. Well, I don't. Floyd. I don't know. He always has protection, so I don't know how close I can get to him.
That's true. Sobers, I know you're all the way in Georgia, good old Georgia. But what do you think? You want to make that cross country trek over there, try to get a glimpse of the man himself?
Well, it looks like is he going to be doing a world tour? Is he going to every Costco across the country?
He should.
If I want to see someone that reminds me of Floyd Mayweather, I could drive 20 minutes down to the city.
Come on.
You know what I mean?
Come on, man. Come on. What's the matter with you? But yeah, hey, listen, good for money. That's what his nickname is. Good for money. You got to do what you got to do. Don't forget, fellas, the phone lines are open. Left-hand middle portion of your screen. That's where you can see the phone number right there. Let me read a couple of super chats here. Shout out to everybody who's donated so far. And don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Don Chile Rayeno says, Grover from Sesame Street gave his whole to Turkey. Oh, come on. What's he talking about? I don't even understand what that means. Grover from Sesame. Which one was Grover again?
Grover is that the trash can? The guy in the trash can?
No, that's okay. It's the blue one. It's the blue one. Not the one that eats cookies. It's the one.
I know Elmo and Grover. I mean Elmo and the green one. I forgot.
No, the blue one. I used to call him the blue. I used to call him the blue Elmo. This guy, Grover.
This guy looks like a drug addict, man.
Yeah, he looks like the Cookie Monster who went turned anorexic or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
but,
he went on a crack cookie diet,
yeah, he hangs out in the alley with the trash monster as well. So what was the other one? Hold on, there was another one here. Okay, so shout out to Don Chile Rayeno for his contribution with the super chat. Shout out to Frankie Sands as well, who says Bohachuk said he saw fear in Ortiz. He said that on the Snow Queen channel. Interesting. He sees fear. I mean, guys, what do you make of that? Whenever a guy says, "Oh, I saw fear in his eyes," I mean, what does that mean? I saw fear in his eyes.
Well, I think that half the time that means something, half the time it doesn't. I think some people in some cultures is just rude to looking people in the eye for too long. And they don't do it naturally, and that's not something they're used to. So, when they make that kind of eye contact, it makes them a little uncomfortable, and they'll turn away. Doesn't necessarily mean they won't take your head off. But maybe for Americans who do that more, it's more encouraged and stuff like that. You really can stare someone down and just take the fight out of them. Sometimes you really can just do that. I've done it.
Yeah, that's
interesting. Why don't you ask the boxing scientist?
The boxing scientist?
They had to stare down.
Yeah, it's called. You know what I call it, BDA? I call it the dragon fear. For nerds out there, there's a term that when they encounter a dragon, like in these fantasy epics or whatever, they get frozen, their spine freezes, they can't move, their knees start shaking. It's the dragon fear. That's what you can see in some people's eyes.
It's the same thing. I think Virgil Ortiz was talking about on another podcast that some people, the first time they got to go down on a girl and to eat the booty, they have the brown stare or something. That's what you call it. Like they freeze when they.
It's called the brown abyss. It's called the brown abyss, BDA.
There you go. Yeah.
He looked into his own soul, huh?
And if you look too long, it'll stare back.
I mean, that's what Nietzsche said. I don't know, man. Maybe he was onto something, but. Yeah, it's interesting because when I hear that, Sobers is saying 50-50 sometimes. Sometimes there's a possibility that the fighter was scared. Sometimes there's nothing to it. I think it's more than 50% that there's nothing to it. I mean, these guys are professional fighters. I mean, you really think Virgil... I have a hard time imagining a Virgil Ortiz staring at Bohachuk and then all of a sudden feeling, starting to heave. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I heard the stories of, Mike Tyson used to intimidate his opponents. They said they were shaking in their boots. I mean, maybe, but when he finally met, Holyfield or Lewis, they weren't. But I think, isn't adrenaline and fear, it's all the same chemical, isn't it? It's that what is it that goes in your neck? The quarter, you should know, BDA. You read this.
Should I know?
No, Citarol, BDA.
There's cortisol
that,
and
that
then
fluid.
there's...
Yeah.
Cortisol.
Something like that.
Is that the one? I thought you were talking about adrenaline. Isn't that what adrenaline does when you start getting into fight or flight?
Well, fear, and those things, they all produce the same chemical, right? The cortisol.
Adrenochrome.
No, not. You're gonna get a shut down there, Sobers. Okay, it says here. Let's go.
Oh, my bad. I swear that's what you were talking about. My bad.
No, man. Google says cortisol is a steroid hormone that is produced by your two adrenal glands, which sit on top of each kidney. When you are stressed, increased cortisol is released into your bloodstream. Having the right cortisol balance is essential for your health, and producing too much or too little cortisol can cause health problems. See, I was getting confused because I knew you meant one of those. I was getting confused between cortisol and fuck, there's another one. I think it ends with D. Whatever. Anyway, he was cortisol.
Yeah, you read the medical dictionary to us sometimes. I thought you would know.
Yeah, but I don't memorize that shit. I'm just getting started. But I will say this about Virgil Ortiz Jr. I like that. I like the panache, the moxie. I like that he's on point. The question, though, is how long can he make 154 for? Because he was looking a little bit dried out. And you could see his facial features very pronounced, cheekbones, face sunken in a little bit. That's, even he was having a hard time making 147. Now he's still having a hard time making 154. And he just got there. It's a little worrisome.
Well, you know what, BDA? Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe that weight cut is why he's been acting so crabby. Because usually he's not like that, right? He's usually an easygoing guy.
Yeah, you're right, man.
And fighters usually they get they're more irritable, when they're weight cutting and shit.
Yeah, that is a miserable existence. That last week when you're cutting weight. Oh, and by the way, that's the other thing. Did you guys see the list? Man, I wish I would have saved it. The list of the weigh-ins for last Saturday's event. Somebody posted a list of the official weigh-ins on Fight Night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Terence Crawford came in heavier than his opponent. I remember that, like 3 pounds.
Yeah, they're coming in 15, 20 pounds higher than their.
He was like 169. I think Madrimov was like 165 around there or something like that.
I found it here. Yeah, just to really show people what we're talking about here. And for people that were saying that Crawford, oh man, they were giving Crawford for moving up in weight and his first fight at that weight, fighting a bigger guy. Check this out. Israel Madrimov weighed at 168.6 pounds. On Fight Night, Crawford weighed at 169.8. So he was, I know it's
super middleweight. Looks like a super middleweight to me, BDA.
I mean, he gained 16 pounds on top. But now I don't know if that was all water or I don't know how. All I know is I'm looking at this. He looks to be about the same weight as Madrimov. And then on Fight Night, they looked about the same size. Crawford was taller, a little leaner, but his shoulders were he was still filled out in the upper chest. The upper body, and the traps were quite visible. And I know Jimmy has talked about how usually if you want to look at a guy who's been using something, usually you will see overdeveloped traps. So I just want to compare and contrast maybe Crawford, how he used to look in his last couple of fights at 147, and then this last fight at 154, and really look at the traps, see if there's a substantial change. Because again, I don't want to jump to conclusions. I'm not casting aspersions, not yet anyway. But it does. All I'm trying to get at, guys, is that there wasn't that big a difference in terms of weight between Madrimov and Crawford.
No, there wasn't. And this guy was fighting at 140 and 147, and probably coming in or around this weight. And like
135, man, he was at 135 fight.
Yeah, with the same frame. The weight. If a scientist wants to come in here and really break it down, but the frame is still the same as far as the reach and height. And he's fighting guys way smaller. That when we talk about weight bullying, having an advantage, that's what weight class is supposed to do, is even the playing field. But it's not an even playing field, especially if you're with Snack. Now, it's allegedly, but we don't even know what Snack is. And like you're saying, the way his physique, when Benavidez, some of these guys move up, like Morrell was defined, but when they moved up in weight, they look kind of pudgy. Crawford's adding muscle and keeping it. So you take that what you want.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it, man. Because I mean, okay, here it is. Look at Crawford. That's not it. Hold on a second. And don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Phone lines are open in case you want to call in. Look at his traps. I mean, I don't remember him having those big traps. He looks like Bane in the last Batman appearance he made. With what's his name? What's the name of that British actor?
No, that's true. No, you're right. Tom Hardy. That's the actor.
Tom Hardy. Yeah. Look at that. I mean, that's not a small
Yeah, you're
guy.
right, BDA. They do look pretty big, bro.
That is not a small guy. Hold on, I can't play the whole thing here because otherwise they're gonna.
No, but I remember, he's kind of like a wiry dude. I don't remember him having big,
that exactly
bulky shoulders.
No, but even at 147, he always looked big to me. He looked bigger than Spence. I mean, look.
Well, that night at the Spence fight, yeah, he looked.
He looked heavier than Spence for sure.
Check this out. This is the. Oh, man, you can't really see it. Fucking VLC's codec, too, is always fucking me up here. Okay, look at this. Okay, so Madrimov, I would say Madrimov looks bigger upper body-wise, but not by that much. Look at it. Let's see. Crawford's got very good traps. You see his shoulders, shoulder muscles are bursting out, too.
Well, there was a picture of him when he was training before this fight, and I guess he was bulking up. He was really bulking up because he thought he was going to go into Canelo fight, and he looks about 170 with just packs of muscle. I don't know if you could find that on the internet, but it looked like he had a chain. You see guys when they have a chain around their neck or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing some kind of tire exercise. He definitely looks way too strong for it to be fighting at 147 or 154.
And you know what's
He
interesting?
looked like Conor Benn. Remember those pictures that Conor Benn was posting?
Oh, yeah,
before? That's what he looked like.
Man, if you can find it for me, man, I'd appreciate that. I'm looking at this picture here, though, or this part of this clip, rather, and you look at Crawford's neck. I want to compare and contrast it to when he was at 147, because I don't remember him having this thick a neck. Maybe this is why he was able to take some of the shots that Madrimov threw at him. That neck, that developed neck, was able to absorb the shock of some of these shots. But yeah, man, listen, all I wanted to highlight was the fact that when people were saying, well, Crawford fought a bigger guy. No. He's a natural junior middleweight at this point. You can just tell his size there.
Well, if he's heavier than the opponent, BDA, there's no question at that point, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But I mean, when I look at the difference, what was it, 1.8 pounds or something? I mean, it's negligible in my eyes. But I have to combine it with what I see, and then I look, hey, Crawford looks the same size as he does, just that the weight is distributed differently. But he doesn't look smaller than Madrimov. That's all I'm gonna say. Somebody's giving us a super chat here. Let me just, hey fellas, don't forget to hit the like. Really helps us out. Shout out to JXV88 for his contribution to the super chat. He says, F Turkey. He's smashing 12 virgin men, not women. Come on. See, why do people, I was listening to IBFP yesterday, and a lot of people in that chat were going after the Turkey. They were, instead of calling him His Excellency or the Turk, they were calling him the Turd. And then IBFP has to have one of the best comedic timings in the YouTube boxing community. He was saying, look, he says, look, I like Crawford, he says, but I'm getting tired of these Crawford man fans sucking on that meat. And then he goes, they're calling up Domino's and every pizza place out there going, bling, bling. Yes, can I get the Crawford special meat lovers? Can I get the Crawford special meat lovers with extra meat? With extra meat and a little turkey on top. I was having a drink and I almost spit my fucking drink. The cliche. I almost spit my drink into the screen. Almost happened with me, man. And that was just one of the killer lines I had during that stream. But it's true. People, I mean, the Canelo fans are turning on the Sheik because they don't like the way he's disrespecting their men. And I'm thinking, look, can we at least, whether you think he's disrespecting him or not, whether you want to pick Canelo's side, the Turk side, whatever, can we agree that this little spat doesn't mean that they won't work together at some point down the line?
We'll see. It's not so much on Canelo, right? Because we already know what Canelo, when he talks with him, we don't know if this guy, the Turkey, is going to be butthurt about it later on and take it personal. and be like, no, she's gonna try to blackball Canelo in some way. Who knows what's gonna happen?
Me looking at it, I don't think so. I think Floyd Mayweather used to go on rants against Manny Pacquiao and Bob Arum, and I think he said some really racial, bad things, and they work together. If there's enough money, I think they will.
Exactly.
But it could easily Turkey could really easily be an egomaniac, because that's what it's looking like. And it's two guys that you have to kiss the ring. That's what it really is. You see everybody grovels at the Turkey's feet, and people grovel at Canelo's feet. So it's just two guys with big swinging sword fighting.
Oh, wait a minute. wait a minute. If you would have said measuring, dick measuring, okay, but actual touching of the private parts, you're talking about something else there, Frank.
Oh, that's something I think the Turkey would like to do with Canelo, to be honest.
Come on.
Maybe. Because you don't, he really wants to hold Canelo's hand. I mean, that's what he wants to do. He wants to hold Canelo's hand.
Maybe he'll listen to
he wants to hold more than
that.
Come on. He's been listening to the Beatles, maybe. I want to hold your hand. But you know what? It's interesting because what I think is going to happen here is they're going to work down the line. That's my prediction. There's, like Frank said, hit the nail on the head. Money talks, and these guys know that there's a lot of money to be made. The other thing that interests me about that was the fact that Canelo said, look, I was concentrating on the Berlanga fights, and these guys called me up and gave me an ultimatum right on the spot as I'm promoting these Berlanga fights. So I told him to go F themselves, which I can understand. And because the Turk said, he priced himself out. Well, wait a minute. Did you actually sit down and negotiate with him officially? And not just with him. Because listen, Canelo's not really sitting in there in the negotiations. He, like most fighters, I assume, his lawyers take care of it. They relay the information to him. He relays back his thoughts or their feedback to them. And that's how they do it. So I really doubt that in a day they really negotiated, because let's say Canelo would have said, "Hey, I want 120 million for Crawford." Why wasn't there a counter? Wasn't there a counter offer from the Sheik? I mean, these guys aren't amateurs when it comes to negotiating. That's what I'm saying. There was no negotiation taking place. They were just talking, and people, as always, extrapolated that or took that and turned it into, they negotiated and Canelo asked for too much money. He had priced himself out. There were no negotiations, as far as I know.
I can only assume, BDA, that it was something like how Turkey approached Shakur Stevenson. Yes or no, right now. They probably sent him a message, just the same way they did during the pay-per-view. If Canelo knew it was good for him, he would agree. They probably sent it something like that, without any numbers, without like yes or no, what's up? And he's like, man, what the fuck? Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Get the fuck out of here.
Please. Get the fuck out of here.
Don't talk about my mother. Don't talk about my mother. Remember that? We killed the plant. But it's interesting, though, because, so I expect them to... What's that?
How come he didn't fucking... I want to know why he didn't... you know what I really think that was, BDA? That was, I think, when Caleb Plant brought up the steroids, I think that's what really set Canelo off.
I
Not
think
the motherfucker shit. Because Berlanga was calling him a motherfucker to his face, too, and he didn't start slapping him.
You know what? Great point. I caught that. And I remember thinking, why? Maybe he's gotten used to it or something? I don't know, man. But it was weird, huh? That he called, Berlanga called him that, and Canelo just took it.
He just started like invisible dick slapping him. Bam, bam, bam. That shit was crazy, dude.
Well, listen, I mean, there's something going on here with this promotion that one day earlier they were nice and shaking hands, laughing like they were good buddies. Then all of a sudden, that they started literally swinging the dick around. It was weird.
Oh, did he say he's gonna make Berlanga suck his dick after he uppercuts him, or what?
See, he said te voy a dar la chinga de tu vida, which means I'm gonna give you the, well, I don't know how to specifically try. I'm gonna fuck you up like no one's ever fucked you up before.
I'll give you the beating of your life, right?
Because chinga could mean fuck, but it could also be I'm gonna fuck you up. It's double
And then
entendre.
Berlanga was saying the voice like a la mierda. Like what the
Yeah, it's
fuck?
like, yeah, I'm gonna take your shit out. I mean, that is too. I mean, listen, this is like convict. This is like convict talk or something. This is convict code right here. I don't know what it means.
And look, even Canelo showed up like a blood in, blood out. His own cosplay of Miklo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You was scared of me, a spider?
Yeah, and Berlanga.
And now he's
really
dick slapping his face. Like, what's that?
Berlanga likes to use the N word as well. I think he says, not with the heart, he says it with the A. But Berlanga, he talks really street too, so I think it's pretty aggravating.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, though. He's one of those Puerto Ricans that thinks he can say the.
Is that a street move right there?
I mean, it's something, all right. I don't know. It's too much for me. That's for sure. This is the type of I don't go for this type of trash talking or rude, crass gestures that these fellas are demonstrating. We're going to talk more about this, but I see some people are calling in here, so let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to 773. You're on the air. 773. What's on your mind?
Hey, bro, how you doing?
Doing fantastic. 773. What's up?
Hey, man, I gotta say, as far as this Jive Turkey Jive.
Oh, hold on. It's Kevin from Chicago. K-Dog.
It's K-Dog, bro.
What's up, man?
Oh, man, I'm talking about the Turkey man. It's a give and a take when it comes to him.
Mm-hmm.
On the forefront, it looks like it's a good thing. He comes in and he's putting the fights together you want to see, but be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for, because you see what he did with that live golf thing. That's what they're doing. They're throwing a bunch of money around. They're trying to undermine our sports. They're trying to take over the entertainment. They're trying to take over sports. I just don't know. You got to keep an eye open when it comes to people like that. You never know. And the way he's talking, he sounds like an idiot. I know Canelo respects me, but he's got this ego about him. He's got a big time ego, and that's unsurprising. But I don't know. I just got a bad feeling about the dude. Anyone else?
Are you saying that if oh, go ahead, Source, go ahead.
I was gonna say I think you're right, bro. I think he has a big ego, and I'm thinking about him, dude. The more you talk about him, he actually reminds me of a turkey. He got that big old torso and those skinny little arms.
Oh, come on, man.
He got those little chicken wings. You know what I'm saying? And you see when he puts his fist up, when he takes pictures with the fighters, that shit looks funny as hell.
He's like a damn movie villain. Someone needs to go fucking.
Yeah, kind of like the penguin, kind of like an Arabian penguin.
Arabian penguin.
Hey, man, this guy's got tons of money, man, to do whatever he wants. I don't know if maybe he's gonna try to look for you or something, Silvers.
I know he's gonna look.
As far as Usyk and all these other fighters, I'm sure they're happy. They got no complaints.
My name is Boxing with Frank Bay. I don't know what you're talking about.
I will say that,
the real Frank Bay.
I mean, I will agree with them with the Canelo stuff. I mean, Canelo's asking for what, $200 million? I don't think Canelo has that type of pool. I don't think he has that type of pool anymore. I don't think I mean, we're talking, you got to do 2 million buys to pull that kind of number. We're talking millions of pay-per-views. He's pulling maybe 400, 500,000 at most nowadays. I don't think he's the star he once was. I think he kind of lost his luster after that Bivol fight and is kind of just skating by these wins. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm right. What do you guys think?
Well, listen, shout out to K-Dog from Chicago for calling in. We're going to answer your question. So, coincidentally, fortuitously, somebody from the Discord, Fresh Prince, sent me a breakdown. He crunched the numbers. Must be Asian. He crunched the numbers, and he found out that what Canelo's asking for isn't that far off from what Usyk and Fury got. And those dudes, first of all, the Usyk Fury fight took place in Saudi Arabia. So forget about a gate. They weren't relying on the gate to make money. That's not what they're doing over there. Maybe pay-per-view, they were looking for a good result there. And it's the same thing with Canelo. The guy Fresh Prince sent me the numbers. We'll go through them at some point if I can gather them together into a nice, tightly, good, visually, aesthetically pleasing package. But essentially what he was telling me is that Canelo sort of generates the same numbers that Usyk Fury would if they put him in there against a guy who's got a high demand, a solid B-side like a Benavidez or a Crawford. So why would why would the Sheik refuse that? And again, that's why I suspect it had nothing to do with the money. It had to do with egos clashing and Canelo not wanting to be pressured as he's preparing for this Berlanga fight. That's what it seems like to me, and I suspect there's going to be a second round of negotiations after September. We got a phone call here. Let's go to 336. 336, you're on the air. 336, what's on your mind?
Yo, so when the other caller called in, he was fine on my end, but you guys are cutting out just a little bit, like everyone on the panel. It kind of like, yeah, I don't know if that's just on my end or what. But anyways, P50BDA. I got Venado winning. Obviously, I got Virgil Ortiz winning, so I'm going to go ahead and get those early predictions out of the way. And now that that's kind of done, I think there's like a lot of Crawford fanboys with Turkey and what's going on. That I had some of his like fangirls say that Canelo priced himself out and like Turkey basically beat Canelo, or he froze him out of boxing or fighting Crawford or getting the big fights, and like that's just fanboy nonsense. Like I've been critical of Canelo over the years, but to say he's not going to get money and he's not going to get to what he wants is just fanboy shit. I mean, he's on the Forbes list for a reason, so it's what they want to believe, but obviously it's not based on reality. And based on the pay-per-view numbers that were abysmal, it makes me wonder, even though Gaethje and Poirier were on the same night as Crawford Spence was, maybe they marinated the fight perfectly, because that did about 550 to 600,000 pay-per-views. And even though Spence was a shot geriatric alcoholic at that point in his career, maybe they just marinated so long, and I guess it delivered. Because you would think if it was over-marinated, Crawford's pay-per-views wouldn't have done so damn bad, especially after winning the way he did against Spence, but it was abysmal. Like I'm hearing 100,000, 7,500,000. So, yeah, Crawford's definitely not the star that people claim he is. Shakur, same thing. Haney, same thing. Galas is getting there, for sure. He's probably the biggest face in American boxing right now, without question. Compared to the other Americans. So, yeah, you guys had to get that out of the way. Also, one last thing. I hope Canelo never does that gay shit ever again at a press conference. I was like, that was disappointing, man. Because usually I leave that to like the LGBTC and like the black cards and shit. I just say, your favorite fighter is a bisexual. You're rooting for a bisexual to knock out Lomachenko. Like Tank is a fag bag wearer. Like I don't want to put Canelo in that same light. You can't be doing that shit. That's ridiculous. That's all I had to say. T50BDA, and I'm out.
All right, take it easy, Dora. Thank you for your call. And yeah, man, I mean that they went a little too far with the theatrics over there in that press conference. And I know people are gonna say, yeah, but then why do you keep playing it? Well, because we have to keep playing it. We have to keep pointing out that this was bizarre. And now, if that makes us, I refuse to believe that makes us as outrageous as what they were doing. Now, does it make us a little outrageous? Maybe. I can concede that. What were you gonna say, Sobers?
I was gonna say, if anyone's ever worked with Bisons doing construction or anything like that, they can get pretty fucking gay pretty quick, and you don't even know if they're joking.
That's true. That's true.
He said, "Don't get drunk around them, right?" After that 12er.
Yeah, don't be doing coke and drinking like, hey, what the fuck? This guy gets weird.
It's getting weird.
I'm just playing around, bro.
I find it funny,
bro. What?
I think it's funny, man. I like it. I mean, not like it like that, but I like the theatrics.
Yeah. I'm glad you cut yourself.
I mean, why be polite? What's the need to be polite? Like, we're about to fight. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see people talk shit. I want to see them get angry. I'm here for it.
That got me. It got me more hyped for the fight when I saw them start going. When they got at the end, when it started, getting all sexual and shit. I thought, like, what the hell? But when they first started jawing at each other and were just like cushing each other out, and Berlanga got up and started walking up to Canelo. I was like, okay, it got me into the fight. When I necessarily was kind of like passive about it, I was like, so. Now, I'm more excited to tune in. And I've heard other people calling the other shows and say the same thing. They're kind of like, I didn't kind of care, but now, shit, they think Berlanga's gonna do something.
Interesting.
Just wait and see. Watch and see. Just watch and see.
Sobers is saying that their gestures made him excited. They excited him. Okay, you're on the record saying that, and we'll see if it
roll the tape.
Yeah, well, that's what
Chubs
you
were
said.
noticed.
You said you got aroused to watch and to pay for the pay-per-view. That's what you essentially you're saying.
He didn't say
I
that.
pre-ordered as it was happening.
There you go. There you go. There was pre-ordering coming out of his pores, is what he's saying. So
what I
pre-ordered before it even finished. You know what I mean?
Oh man, what's going on here?
But you got to think about. I thought about it too. It's like Canelo.
You thought about it too.
It's a win for. What? Yeah, I thought about it. Everybody thought about it.
I
don't deny it. Come on.
I didn't.
You're just in denial. But
okay.
No, look, Berlanga. The one thing you want to do is get under Canelo's skin. Like that's a dub. That's a win.
He wants to do more than that, man. Let me tell you.
Well, yeah, probably.
He said he dreamed about. Remember, he said he dreamed. He said he dreamed about Canelo.
I did see that too.
We're not kidding around, fella. We're not kidding around, people in the chat. Okay? Berlanga really did tell it to Canelo in the first press conference when they were getting along. He says, I had a dream about Canelo. I dreamt about Canelo. I could feel him. I could smell him. That's what he said.
But look at that. That's the crazy thing, right? All these guys, these Berlangas, these Crawfords, they all want a piece of Canelo. That's the crazy that he wants all these people want a piece of Canelo. He's the hot chick, I guess. I don't know, but he's always good at masking that he's never affected. But for Berlanga to get under his skin, like Caleb Plant got under his skin, who I don't think Triple G really did. He didn't like Triple G, but it had nothing to do with the shit talking, right? I think it was just he felt Triple G was being fake nice.
Yeah, that's what I remember he said that. Yeah, you're right. So you're saying Canelo's a Stacy of the boxing world. Everybody wants to get with the Stacy. That makes some. No, you're right. It's a good. Even though he's paper, I don't know. We're gonna get into that later on. But
Benavidez, I guess he was pissed.
He's a spicy Latina redhead. You know what I mean, BDA?
Spicy Latina redhead. Well, we're gonna speculate later on as the fight approaches about how successful this pay-per-view can be, because I'm skeptical about how successful this pay-per-view can be. Let's go to a phone call here. Somebody's been waiting. Let's go to 319. 319, you're in the air. 319, what's on your mind?
Yo.
Yes, 319, you're on the air.
Hello? Hey, man. I just want to call in and say I think you're being a little hard on His Excellency. It's not really normal to try to negotiate a fight, like a month before Canelo's Berlanga fight, because he's obviously in training camp. He's obviously doing press conference stuff. I think the culprit that'd be more likely to point the finger at would probably be Crawford. I mean, he has the reputation of being notoriously difficult to negotiate with already. It's like a day after a close decision with the Madrimov fight. So I imagine Crawford just put some unreasonable conditions on Turkey, and then Turkey went to Canelo then the very next day saying we have to do a 50-50 or something, and Canelo just wasn't having it. That's just all I really want to call and say.
It's possible. It's possible. You might have a point. I mean, again, we're speculating at this point. We don't know who really is at fault here, if there is any fault to be assigned. But you're right, though. I mean, yeah, Crawford, we're going to get to Crawford now that I mentioned. Hey, anything else you want to say, caller, before we move on?
Crawford's in a really good position right now at 154. He could conceivably unify that. So, and that's an easier path than fighting Canelo, I would think. He could work his way to a Spence rematch, whoever comes out on top with Fundora versus Spence, or, whoever else is the sitting duck at 154.
Right. Yeah, you're right. I think that's the way they're going to go around. I think the Shikori realized, hey, man, 168 might be a bit of a pipe dream. But we'll see what happens in the next couple of months, especially after Canelo fights, gets done with Berlanga. All right, caller. Thank you for your call, man.
Yeah, thanks for calling.
All right, take it easy, man. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 706. 706, you're on the air. 706, what's on your mind?
Hey, am I coming in clear?
You're coming in. Oh, Soothsayer. Yeah, you're coming in clear, Soothsayer. What's up, man?
Hey, so about the Canelo thing, I've picked up on a few things about Canelo's wife, and I don't really like it.
You broke up there, Soothsayer. What did you say? You didn't like what? Soothsayer? Suits here. Oh, he's in the Appalachians again. The Appalachian Mountains. That's why he's always got that bad reception. Let's go to 713. 713, you're on the air. 713, you're on the air. 713, what's in your mind?
Yeah, time goes on, man. Canelo's the kingpin of the fight game right now. But as far as Turkey, man, he wants to have a boxing league, right? Eventually, he wants to be owner of the whole boxing thing, right? The whole league. But I don't think he's gonna have much success because just now he's flopping. You know, he has to partner with other people or groups, and it's like it was an okay card, but supposedly it didn't sell. But they're all waiting for Canelo's downfall. But that's one thing about Canelo, man. He's milking the game, man. You can't make him. You can't get mad at him. You know. I'm not mad at him. But yeah, Canelo's the kingpin right now. And as far as this weekend's fight, I'm going with Virgil and Venado. And I'm glad that you had me on the show. And thanks for your time. Bye.
Thank you, man. Thank you for your call. Nice and concise right there, man. That's a nice, succinct, compact call. Shout out to you, man. Take it easy out there. 713.
Bye.
All right, take it easy, man. Yeah, man. I keep forgetting. Yeah, we keep talking about the Virgil fight, but Venado Lopez versus Angelo Leo. Oof, that should be a good one. I mean, Joel Gonzalez versus Venado wasn't that good. It was a little bit subpar. So maybe it could turn like that, but I think Angelo Leo is going to put more pressure than Joel Gonzalez did. I think this guy's hungrier, and I think he's more of a go-getter than Joel Gonzalez. But don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. The phone number is right there in the left-hand middle portion of your screen if you want to call in. Yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about, because some people were saying, well, wait a minute. Joshua has been fighting in Turkey a la Sheik's cards. He's not afraid like Canelo. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. Has AJ been matched up with a murderer's row since he's hooked up with the Sheik? I mean, if you look...
No. Would he get it? He got a touch versus an MMA guy. He got paid really well for an MMA guy. And then Wallin. No, he hasn't fought the top guys. Well, you had Zhang and Parker and that Caballo guy. All these guys fight each other. AJ's kind of getting to sit and cherry pick.
Right. I mean, Wallin was a decent fight. That was a decent fight. But again, it's I think some people were overrating Wallin based off the Tyson Fury performance, which was 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, he caught Tyson Fury. He landed a couple of shots on him. But when Fury decided to use his weight on the guy, he essentially had his way with Wallin. So maybe you could argue that maybe, hey, that's not Joshua's fault. He's that good that he made Wallin look average. And I agree. What I'm saying is he's not exactly been fighting the Zhangs of the world. Instead of fighting the Wilder right away, they put him in there with Wallin and Wilder with Parker as a box-off for the main event instead of just putting those two guys together. So, yeah, man, I mean, it's Joshua's there, but he's not exactly fighting the next best contenders.
Which, I mean, that's boxing. That's kind of, because he's coming off the Usyk loss. He has to build himself back up. But, I mean, still, you have to point out that he's not fighting killer after killer because they're waiting to make a Tyson Fury fight. That's just what it really amounts to. Or it was for the Wilder, but Wilder couldn't get past his opponent. But that's boxing, man. These guys, they build their records against nobodies, and then they wait for a super fight.
Well, that's the other thing I wanted to bring up is, I don't know if you guys saw the news. Usyk says now that he knows that he's got to get past Fury, and that once that's done, he's probably going to want to he's looking at taking on Joshua again for a third fight. And I got to tell you, fellas, I am disinterested in that fight. Because Joshua did much better in the second fight. I mean, the first one was competitive, don't get me wrong. It was competitive, but it was a clear win, at least for me, for Usyk. The second one was clear, too, that Usyk won it, but that was very close. Like, if Joshua would have won another round, could have been a draw. I think I had it about 7-5 to Usyk. And a rematch is only going to benefit Joshua, because he's still young. His advantages still are there when it comes to boxing, whereas Usyk's advantage is speed and timing. He's 37 now. The first Usyk Joshua fight was in 2021. So we're talking early 2025, maybe middle of 2025. That's 4 years. 4 years later, almost. What do you guys think about that fight?
About the rematch between Usyk and Joshua?
Like a rubber match, yeah.
What, a trilogy? It's just like you said, man. I mean, that's boxing, right? So Usyk has to fight too. Look, I had said he got his jaw broke, but I guess he didn't get his jaw broke. But you see the interview, he said, man, Fury hit me and I had to pray. It was a brutal fight. Yeah, he won, but it was a very brutal fight. I mean, Tyson Fury is a 6'9", 300-pound guy. He hurt that guy, and because Usyk's a smaller guy. So Joshua can sit and fight these little touches. Now, Du Bois, he's okay, but we've seen what he is, right? I seen him quit against Usyk. So Usyk has to go through killer after killer after killer, and then AJ being the A side, because that's the reality, he can just sit there and like, okay, I'm gonna wait, let him get beat up, and then I'm gonna go fight him. Very, very Floyd-esque. He could watch Cotto get beat up. Oh yeah, I'll fight him now. Judah lose. Oh, I'll go fight Judah after a loss. Like, that's boxing though.
I don't even know if that Fury fight happens, man. The rematch. I mean, the last time we saw Fury.
Oh, okay. I think it does because Fury was successful, in my opinion. But
yeah, but did you see him lying on the floor in the middle of a street or the sidewalk rather after the fight?
Oh, that part.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Fury. That's just Fury, though. He's an admitted drunk cokehead. He flaunts it. I think that's his. What would it be? It's like he's like Oscar, right? They need that. They need that in their life, if that makes sense.
No, but that the kind of like tirado that is. That's the same thing. That's the same way that Errol Spence would get.
Exactly.
And that's what happened to him against that Crawford fight. Caught up to him, and Fury hasn't looked that bad in his fights, but it's gonna catch up to him eventually, right? And who knows if it's not the next one.
I mean, I gotta tell you,
the rematch was originally supposed to be October, but then they pushed it back to December. So that tells you a lot, also.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, listen. Fury performed better than most people expected. Most people were picking Usyk, and they thought he was going to school Fury. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. Fury, okay, he hasn't looked great. He was overrated. But I think by doing that, some people ended up underrating him. I mean, like Frank said, this dude, and by the way, he's not 6'9". He's about maybe 6'7" and a half. Everyone else, like Wilder's not 6'7" either. He's 6'6" maybe, and something. They all exaggerate. But the point is, he's still much bigger than Usyk. So he's a big dude who's got good timing, good dexterity. I remember people in the chat, in the Discord, in our community, a lot of them were saying Usyk was going to beat him. And most people were saying he was going to beat him easy. So as I'm watching the fight, and the first 5 rounds, it looks like Fury's going to stop Usyk. And I'm looking at the Discord every once in a while, looking at people's round-by-round coverage. A lot of people started saying, man, Fury took him when he was too old. Fury cherry-picked him when he was too old. You can see, and I'm thinking, they were already coming out with the reason why Usyk lost was because, well, he was just too old. If he would have been 2 years earlier, he would have. And then once Usyk started picking it up, they forgot all about Usyk's age. So I saw people. What that means is I'm not castigating people for making or picking up on the fact that Usyk might have been old, whatever. What I'm saying is he looked bad enough that people were saying, oh, he got old. So that's to illustrate the fact.
Name the names, BDA. Who are the flip floppers, bro?
No. That's not what I'm saying. My point is, Fury was looking good those first 5 rounds. And then thereafter, Usyk started taking over. But it's not like he even continued dominating. I mean, when he stunned him was in the 9th round, right?
There was a round before we busted his nose. Is that
but that was the end of
Fury's nose?
That was the end of the 8th round. So 7-8. It was still quite close. Then in round 10 or 11, I forget, but Usyk couldn't get to Fury. There was no. It's not like after the 9th round it turned into a beating for Fury. That's not what happened. It was still a pretty competitive fight. So, because of that, I would be looking forward to the rematch. However, I don't know what Fury's doing right now. I don't know if he's shelled up in the back of a bar, playing Russian roulette and taking sips of 40s every other, or a Guinness. I mean, I don't know what they drink over there.
But didn't the Sheik basically threaten Fury the first time he pulled out? Remember, it was the cut, and then he said, if you don't make it, there's going to be a $10 million penalty. So maybe the Sheik has something in place again to make sure that Fury shows up, because that's the way he made him show show up the first time,
Right.
after he pulled out the first time.
Yeah, that's
So maybe because it was supposed to be. I'm sorry, it was supposed to be in October, but then they pushed it back to December. Maybe they push it back again. That could be, but maybe the Sheik has something to make Fury show up again.
Well, you know what? That's a good point. Maybe because that whole thing of video of Fury getting drunk on the middle of a sidewalk, that was when right after the fight. So maybe he's gotten his act together since, knowing that there's a fight coming up in December. Let's go to a phone call here. I think it's Susir calling back. 706, you're on the air. 706. What's in your mind?
Hey, BDA, can you dive into this topic with me, okay? You might not give a shit, but I've noticed this a lot about Canelo's wife. Anytime they're out in public or, strolling by, getting pictures taken of them, she never looks like she's into him, really. I know I can't be the only one that has noticed that about that. It's like she has this, look about her that you could tell she's only with him for the money.
Break it down, man.
I know. I get what Surser is saying, bro. She doesn't look like she's in love with him, bro. She's not worshiping this nigga. You know what I mean? That you would expect a woman who has a man of this status to do.
Is she Russian? She looks Russian.
No, she's Mexican.
Oh, okay.
She looks like one of the. I don't want to talk shit, bro. Because
looks like
Canelo's my boy, bro. But she looks like one of the Bergendorf twins. Where the Borg? I can't remember. I can't say the names right. You know what I'm talking about.
The Bogdanovs, yeah. Are you saying she was bogged? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying I don't know, but she got a lot of work done on her face.
Huh. Go
yeah,
ahead,
and Canelo's what's his height? 5'2", 5'1", right?
I would imagine, yeah.
Yeah, and next to her, that she's if it was up to her, if she could have it her way, she'd be with a fucking 6'4", 6'5" dude.
That's true.
And the way she walks with him, it's like she's taller than him.
Yeah, well, she's wearing heels too, so I think they might be the same height. But then she wears heels. All of a sudden, she looks taller than the dude.
Yeah, but I don't know. You need to look at she just doesn't look happy next to him. And also, listen, a lot of people in comments. Hello.
She could be a little dismissive of him and a little bit cabrona, and he might like that about her. That she doesn't just bow down.
You like that about her, but that's not your wife. I don't want a bitch like that.
Well, first of all,
Canelo does like to be challenged a little bit, bro.
Yeah, on this stream, we don't call women bitches. First of all, that's number one. We respect women on this stream, and we think that women are better than men. Women are better than men. If women were in control of the world, there would be no wars.
And lastly, can you please look into? Can you do an investigative piece on this rape that happened? I think Alex Pereira just raped this one this little white whore girl, and the story's pretty crazy.
Okay, well, first of all, this is in the UFC channel, and what would make you think that we're the rape channel? I mean, what is that? What we're known as, the rape channel, where we investigate rapes over here? SVU.
I just think a BDA take on that would be nice, but all right, man. Y'all have a good day.
Wait, Susir, before you go, man. What were your thoughts on the Isaac Cruz Layo fight? Did you think the decision was underwhelming?
Man, fuck that, man. That's such bullshit, man.
Come on, what happened?
You guys were you and your brother were salivating for that shit to happen.
My brother? You talking about my Muslim brothers?
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, before I go, listen, another thing that I've noticed, people are cheering Canelo for learning English, but I fucking hate Canelo when the Americanized Canelo. I think he's fucking corny, man.
You want him to stay strictly with the Spanish and hang around with Mexican people, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he's getting too Americanized for my taste, man, to be honest with you.
All right, well, listen, that's a fair criticism, I suppose. Anything else you want to say, Susir, before we move on?
Peace, man. Have a good day.
Take it easy, man. Yeah, Susir sounds dejected, man. What do you guys think? Is Canelo turning into a Wedo? Full-on Wedo?
Knowing 50 words makes you white now? Makes you Anglo? No.
I mean, I don't know. That's what Soothsayer is saying. I just wanted to get your takes on that.
You know what it is? People use this term, it's that pseudoscience projection.
Right.
It just seems people project so many things upon Canelo Alvarez. He's this, he's that. I mean, we've heard it all here. I mean, I'm a Canelo fan. I don't talk about him 24/7.
Yeah,
they project all these things upon Canelo Alvarez.
Well, listen,
Go ahead,
Sobers. I thought Sobers was going to say something. Listen, I'm torn whether I'm going to buy this Berlanga fight. The card is it stinks to high heaven.
With Rolly Romero and some Jaime. Rolly Romero's Jaime and McCumbee. Make America Great Again. It stinks.
Oh man,
it does.
It's certainly nothing like what the Turk is putting together. So maybe he'll have him beat, because a lot of people are saying that Canelo UFC, which is holding a card that's same day, and they're styling it as a Mexican Independence Weekend type pageant. Some people are saying, man, the Mexicans are going to stick with Canelo. They ain't going to leave Canelo. I'm thinking, man, listen, I'm Mexican, and I'm telling you, I'm a boxing fan first and foremost. And if you give me trash cards, I'm going to think twice about buying them.
Yeah, we're going to see. We're going to see the real measure of Canelo fans. He has the same fan base as Manny Pacquiao had, as a lot of Floyd Mayweather fans. There's a base, and you depend on your base. And I don't think Canelo at this point, he just doesn't care. He says it every chance he gets. He goes, I don't give a fuck what you guys think. That's his stance.
Exactly.
I respect it. I don't have to like it. But, I'm a big Canelo fan. I'm a self-admitted Canelo fan. I can't defend him fighting Berlanga. I don't think there's no defending it. And the card itself, there's no defending it, but he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
I can defend that. What do you mean?
Okay. Let's go.
All right. So look, if you look at all the sanctioning bodies and all the rankings, the top 10 guys, the top 12 guys, a lot of them are already fighting each other. Shishkin's fighting Skull. Pacheco's fighting Solecki, but Solecki's coming up. And Billy's fighting Derevchenko. Munguia's fighting Bazignan. How many names is that? There's like 6 or 7 names. How many guys in the top 10 are there? So out of the names that were left, there was like Lester Martinez, and then there was Berlanga. That was the best name, bro.
Oh yeah, because
David Morrell and David Benavidez took themselves out of the equation. They moved up. So when you look at the division, that's what's there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess I'm not gonna argue with people who hate the Berlanga fight. That's what I meant. Because I can get on here and defend I can defend the Berlanga fight. Say, look, he's young. If you look at the rankings, like you said, the rankings. Look, man, he fought Munguia. Munguia's top 5 in all the rankings. Berlanga is actually top 5, I believe, in all the rankings. And Billy, nobody knows, but he's top. And all these guys are fighting each other. They all make for great fights. And Canelo's fighting those guys. Munguia's a star right now. So how was that a bad fight? And Morrell and Benavidez left. So, if you don't like the Berlanga fight, I mean, it is what it is. But if he loses, Jaime Munguia might fight him. Benavidez might fight him. Let Terence Crawford go fight Berlanga. I mean, what about that?
I don't know if he'd beat him, bro.
Yeah, but that's my argument. Is like, look, Terence Crawford, he's crying about Canelo fighting Berlanga or anybody. Well, let Terence Crawford go fight Billy. Let him go fight Munguia. I would pay. That's $100 fight, Munguia and Terence Crawford.
Yeah, right. It sure is.
That's a hell of a fight, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, all these guys, man, and you just mentioned this, Sobers. What names are left for Canelo Alvarez in the division?
I mean, Sobers appears to be MIA here, but I'll tell you what.
I'm right here.
No,
I thought he was finishing off with that.
You thought? Well, I mean, I don't know if
my bad. I'm over there.
He sounds like he's still going at it, but I'll tell you what, man. It's gonna be an interesting fight if you're really into watching Berlanga's big mouth getting shot. If that's what you're into, but it's too steep a price for a trash card like that. But I gotta mention something here. shout out to Sobers for making me look into this. The YouTube artificial intelligence feature, which summarizes the conversation that's going on in this fine program of ours, has summarized the conversation as follows. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I disagree. The chat summary. Viewers are calling a radio show host names for bringing up irrelevant topics about Canelo Alvarez' wife's looks and for questioning Canelo's height. First of all, this soothsayer is the one that brought that up about she doesn't look good. She doesn't look happy to be with Canelo. Number two, I don't think did I start making fun of Canelo's height and looks? I don't think I did. For bringing up irrelevant topics.
I don't remember that part. Yeah.
Well, first of all, okay, for bringing up irrelevant topics. I mean, how irrelevant is Canelo Alvarez' height? It's relevant. If we're talking about specific matchups and all that, we talk about the height, we talk about the reach, we talk about a whole bunch of things. So I take umbrage with the AI summary of this conversation. In fact, I'm looking at the chat right now, and I see nothing but happy customers and listeners. That's what I gotta say. I mean, check this out. We've got. Come on, Frankie says OG. Somebody's asking, did Ortiz make weight? Absolutely. Johnny Thunder, which I think is Mirage, says Frank is a typical Canelo fangirl. So there's one negative comment. Grim Reaper says it's not that bad. I see nothing but happy people. Everyone's interested in what we're saying. Everyone's got an opinion, and I think that's good. That means we're really getting into the nitty gritty.
That's the difference between you and most other places. They only want one opinion, and that's why I originally started listening to you. Is you allow everybody to have a voice, and I think that's where you're going to get the truth, so to speak.
Absolutely, you got to look at all points of view to find out the truth. Jesus once asked, or was it Pilate who asked Jesus, "What is truth?" And it's a very poignant question. Might seem simple to some, but it's actually quite deep once you get into it. We got a phone call coming here. Everybody, don't forget to hit the like. It really helps us out. Let's go to 908. 908, you're on the air. 908, what's in your mind?
What's good, BDA's pound for pound boxing talk. Salute to the panel. Yeah, I seen you got the Canelo and the Turkey thing, man. I don't know what's up with Canelo. I think, honestly, bro, I think he don't want to rock with Turkey because he know Turkey going to present him to Benavidez in that Crawford fight. And I don't think Canelo want none of them. Because for every other fight, it seems like it's whatever to make. But for Benavidez, he's saying 200. For Crawford, he's saying $150. And that's just crazy to me. So I think Canelo just purposely, you know how you don't want to do business with somebody, so you just like, whatever. I don't like him. I think because he know that motherfucker going to come to him like, hey, bro, you know what I'm about to offer you. So he cut it off right at the feet. Like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to rock with Turkey. But I really hope that he could have made that fight, though. I really like to see Crawford versus Canelo. I think that would be a real tough fight for Canelo and a real tough fight for Crawford. But the style matchups and everything, I just think it would be a beautiful fight for boxing. I think it would be a better fight than the Jamel fight. Crawford at the same weight class Jamel was at. Crawford 2-time undisputed. Jamel was 1-time. Crawford undefeated. Jamel had 1 loss and a draw. So, I mean, bro, Crawford number 1 pound for pound in the world. Jamel wasn't on nobody pound for pound list. So all of that, if I do this, it's a better fight than Jamel, bro.
Interesting.
So I really hope that.
Yeah, so you would be willing
that take?
You would be willing to pay for the Crawford fight, pay-per-view?
Pay for it for Canelo? Oh, yeah, I'll pay for it twice.
Twice? Well, there you go. They got a customer right there, man.
He going up how many weight classes? That's the number 1 pound for pound versus Canelo Alvarez, the biggest.
Hold on, caller.
That's
caller, Frank wants to say something. Yeah, go ahead, Frank. Go ahead.
Just to this guy that said that he'd buy it twice, and I'm not accusing him, but the Crawford, nobody bought this fight. Same with Benavidez. Where are all these people that are, oh yeah, we'll buy the fight? You don't buy the fights. You don't. So stop lying. Because there's not a 500,000 Crawford fans that bought the fight. It's just not the truth. So I if you want to shit on Canelo, but you don't buy his fights anyway, and you certainly don't buy Terence Crawford fights. So, I mean, make it make sense to me.
But let me ask you this. Would it matter if Terence Crawford fought Boots? Would you care how many people bought the fight? Like, why you care about how many people buying the fight? You want to see the fight or not? I understand the business aspect of it, but as a fan, I'm saying that's what I want to see. And you're like, oh, well, nobody buys the Crawford fights. Nobody buys. I don't give a damn who buy what. That's a good fight that I want to see. You don't want to see it because you worry about who buying the fights, or you don't want to see it because you think your favorite fighter might lose. That's the weird thing about boxing fans nowadays. I get it. You got to understand the business being a boxing fan these days. But at the same time, when you ask him what a person want to see, why wouldn't I want to see Terence Bud Crawford, the #1 fighter in the world, go up two-weight classes and try to go 3-time undisputed against Canelo Alvarez? Because people don't want to buy it? Come on, bro.
Frank, you gotta say something about that?
What's his question? That
Well,
I
he's
don't want
saying-
to see the fight?
Well, no, but because you brought up the pay-per-view numbers, he's saying he doesn't care about the pay-per-view numbers as long as the fight happens.
Okay. Fights and you don't give a fuck how much he sells. He seems to be very concerned about it.
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, I think I would, the only reason why I get interested in the pay-per-view numbers is because it allows me to speculate about whether a fight's going to get made or not. And if Crawford can draw people, then you got to wonder whether that Canelo fight would be as big as some people were speculating it was going to be. I think that the Sheik doesn't care, though. I mean, he's willing to lose millions, peanuts for him, to make that fight. So it should happen.
Exactly.
It's either Canelo versus Benavidez or... It's either Canelo versus Benavidez or Canelo versus Crawford. Now, Crawford, they're saying that he's willing to, the Sheik is willing to put him in there with the winner of Ortiz Bohachuk.
Well,
so Crawford has
I'm glad
options.
you said that, BDA.
Yeah.
But let me just interject, BDA, because you asked me
And then how
the caller. But Eddie, but let me just finish. Eddie Hearn, look, BDA, there's an interview. Eddie Hearn said it himself because he mentioned Boots Ennis Crawford. Eddie Hearn is the promoter for Boots Ennis, and he said there's not enough money in the fight. Those were his words, so it's not going to happen. There's not enough money in the fight yet. Eddie Hearn pretty much shut it down. So I'm just telling you reality as opposed to fantasy. But if you're going to shit on Canelo and shit, you don't buy the fights anyway. And if you're a Crawford fan, you don't buy the fight anyway. So how are you really a fan?
But who's hating on Canelo? This is another thing about y'all boxing fans. Y'all so emotional. Where, at what point in this conversation did I say anything to hate on Canelo? And you keep, this is your third time saying that. Oh, you hate on Canelo, and you don't buy Crawford fight.
I didn't say that.
I just bought the...
I said you don't buy his fight. That's not hate. That's just telling you the truth.
You just said twice hating on Canelo and nobody's buying Crawford fights. And you talking about, okay, but how much pay-per-view is Canelo versus Crawford going to do? And let me ask you a question. You think Berlanga versus Canelo would do more numbers than Crawford versus Canelo?
It doesn't matter.
You see, now you see, everybody in the channel.
Canelo gets paid either way.
Because that, come on, bro. You struggle just to even, but you can't even keep it real with yourself.
Okay, why is Crawford chasing the Canelo fight? Why is he chasing the Canelo fight? When you see him struggle against a 154-pounder.
Versus Berlanga will do more than Crawford versus Canelo. And he said, why does it matter? You're the one who brought shit up.
Okay, somebody.
Hold on. Who's got all that background? Yeah, okay.
All right, so you understand what I'm saying? Or?
I understand what you're saying. Listen, my take on this is, people on the panel have different opinions. My take on this is that both guys are posturing. Canelo and the Turk are posturing. Neither guy wants to give an inch because they know that once they actually sit down and negotiate, which they haven't done yet as far as I know, they're both going to ask for, Canelo's going to ask for maximum price and the Sheik is going to try to say, well, I can't pay you 150 mil. That 150 mil, it's negotiation 101. He's probably asking for 150 mil because he knows that she's going to say no, and then they're going to go down to what he really wants. We're going to have to wait until after the Canelo Berlanga fight to really see what happens. I'm not happy with the Berlanga fight. I'm dubious about even paying for it, but I guess I have to cover it on this channel, and hopefully down the line they actually get it done. But Crawford, it's true though. If Crawford can bring in the numbers, that's something to be considered as well. Crawford apparently got paid 20 mil for the Errol Spence fight, and that fight didn't really do as well as they're saying it did. The PBC shields are saying it was 650,000. Meanwhile, Rick Glaser says 500,000. So you figure it's got to be maybe somewhere in between for both guys getting paid over 20 mil. I don't know, with those numbers, pay-per-views, I don't know if they made enough money to make a profit. So it's the same thing that has to be factored in now with Canelo Crawford. Is it really going to be that big a fight? To your question, does it make more than Berlanga Canelo? I would assume it would, but I don't even know how much Canelo versus Berlanga is going to do. I've been wrong before, so we got to take into consideration all those factors. I don't think Crawford is afraid of Canelo, though. I mean, I don't think Canelo is afraid of Crawford, especially not after the way Crawford looked against Madrimov. So at this point, both guys are all dancing around each other. We're probably going to get to the bottom of this in about a couple more weeks later when they start negotiating again, if that ever takes place.
Well, I like the undercard. I'll say that. I like the undercard. I like the fact that I feel like the fact we got Lara, Danny Garcia, we got Caleb Plant, we got Rolly, all these people. You know, Canelo, I like the fact that you got all these names on the card rather than just one or two. And I really like that Lara and Danny Garcia fight. I think that's cool. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that card.
Caller.
I think that's a pretty good card.
You're saying those are good. You're saying those are good names, but who are they fighting? Caleb Plant's fighting a nobody guy with a mustache and a MAGA hat. Danny Garcia hasn't fought since 2022. Lara, the last time he fought, he lasted less than a round. Good for him, but he's in his 40s. Rolly Romero's fighting a nobody that I've never heard of. I mean, come on. This ain't a good card, man.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but I'm saying look at the names you just named. Usually when we get an undercard, it's usually the main event and a bunch of names we don't know. Look at all the DAZN cards we've been having. It'll be a main event and a bunch of names we don't know. So regardless if I had Danny Garcia versus the cab driver and Lara versus the cab driver and this dude versus who, at least we got two of them versus each other. We got Caleb on there and we got Rolly trying to make a comeback. We got fighters that we know. If they fighting somebody we don't know, cool. I'm sure that'll get better. We had a bunch of other cards, but at least we got names that we know rather than just a main event and a bunch of motherfuckers we have no idea who they are.
So you're saying you prefer nobodies versus nobodies. I mean, you prefer a name, I guess, a nobody in a mismatch than a nobody versus a nobody that could actually make for a better fight.
Exactly. That could make for a better fight. You stuck that last part in. What you mean by that?
Well, I mean, I'll give you an example. Pro Bucks. They have names that are lesser known for the average fan, but they're actually pretty competitive matchups that the matchmakers seem to know what they're doing over there. I'd rather see that than, because Caleb Plant's going to school this guy. That's not fun to me. I don't want to watch a mismatch. Same thing with Romero versus the other guy. Romero's probably going to look bad until he knocks him out. And then what was the other one? Stephen Fulton's too is probably going to return against the guy that he's just going to dance around for 12 rounds. So I'm not terribly interested in them, and I'd rather see two evenly matched up guys taking on each other. I mean, but I'll put it to you this way, caller. The PBC supposedly has a deep roster. This is the best they could do.
That sounds like a loaded question. I guess we don't like PBC on this channel.
Are you gonna answer my question though?
Is this the best they can do?
Yeah. You're really telling me Caleb Plant against a nobody, Lara, a 40-something-year-old against Danny Garcia, who hasn't fought in over 2 years. That's the best they can do.
Well, I'll tell you this. I don't know if it's the best they can do, but it's damn good to me. I mean, for the last 5 cards that I've seen from that network, I haven't seen no other promotional company compete at all. I mean, we've gotten the biggest fights, including one with Canelo. They had that Canelo versus Jamel. Yeah, that was whatever, but historically, 2 undisputed, first time that's ever happened. We got the biggest fight everybody been calling for with Bud versus Errol Spence. And of course, we got the biggest fight in boxing history, probably the last 10 years with Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia. So you saying this the best fight they can make? I'm not on that side. I don't know. But all I can say is this is definitely not a trash card compared to all the other cards I've been seeing. Top Rank, I like what they do. What they do is too, because they be having Keyshawn on there. They put a few names on there with some good dudes, But my thing is, I'd like to have somebody that I know, but somebody I don't, than a whole bunch of people that are just from wherever.
So you're fine with mismatches, is what you're saying?
I never said that.
Well, this is what it's going to be, man. There's mismatches on paper, man. Do you even know who Caleb Plant is fighting, by the way?
Do you know McCumbee? You ever seen McCumbee fight?
You're not answering my question. Have you seen the guy that Caleb Plant's going to fight?
Yes. Have you?
Yes.
Okay.
And you think he's going to give Caleb Plant a good... You're looking forward to that fight. You're looking forward to Caleb Plant coming off a long year layoff, more than a year layoff, taking on nobody.
I'm looking forward to seeing how Caleb Plant performs.
There you go. So you're excited to see him in there against a mismatch. I mean, listen, I'm not trying to convince you that you shouldn't be, because if you're fine with that, that's okay, man. I mean, that's a different strokes for different folks. I'm just thinking that the average fan that I talk to is saying that this is a trash card. I mean, definitely compared to some of the Riyadh season cards that they've been putting on, this is a complete what's the word I'm looking for here? Disappointment compared to all of those. So anyway, listen, you have the right to feel like whichever card you want. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're an outlier.
But that's how it usually goes. Yeah, I don't think it's trash. I've seen trash cards. I don't think it's trash. Do I think it's the best? No.
Can you name me a worse?
Nah.
Name me a worse card than this one.
A worse card than this one?
Pay-per-view
card. I would say the Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia.
Who was on that one? I don't even remember.
Exactly.
Yeah, but who was it?
But you know who you remember was on the card? But you know who you remember is on this undercard? Caleb Plant, Lara, Rolando, and Danny Garcia.
But if they're not, why? I'm going to remember them. Yeah, but I remember them because their names, not because the fights were so great.
Okay, was the fight great on the Devin Haney and Garcia? What was the best fight on Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia on the card?
I don't even remember, but that's the thing, though. So you're saying as long as I remember... So you're saying that as long as you remember the name, you're entertained by the names, is what you're telling me. You're not talking about the fights themselves. You're saying, well, it's Caleb Plant, so I'm going to buy it.
Well, I'm saying I'm a fan of the fighters. So I'm interested in seeing the fighters fight and how they perform. You're saying, yeah, but they're fighting nobody. This is trash. I'm saying it's not trash. It's not the best, but it's not trash.
Yeah, but you're saying...
anyone that's worse than this one.
Yeah, but you're saying...
that's worse than that one. I said somebody on it. You couldn't even name somebody on it. He said, all right, well, what about the fights, though? I'm like, all right, well, give me a better fight. Oh, I don't remember the fight. I'm like, bro, you're making my point.
No, well, no, you're not making a point because you're saying, well, I remember the names. So when this fight is over with, you're gonna hold on. When this fight is over with, you're gonna say, man, the fights were trash, but I remember the names. That's what you're gonna say. You're gonna be happy with the fact that you remember the names.
Well, we haven't seen a fight, so you can't say that at all.
Well, I'm looking at them on paper, and I know, and I've watched these guys fight before. The guys that are going to be the opponents, and what am I in for here? You're telling me it's going to be a good fight.
So you're saying before you even see the fight,
you're telling me it's going to be a good. You're telling me they're going to be good fights.
I never said it was going to be good fights. You asked if I thought it was. I said I don't think the undercard is trash.
You just intimated. You said, well, we haven't seen him yet. Meaning, well, you're hoping that they're going to be good.
Of course, I'm hoping they're going to be good. I'm a boxing fan. I'm not a
What does your gut, as a boxing fan, what does your gut tell you about these fights? Do you think Caleb Plant against a nobody is going to be a good fight?
As a boxing fan, I'm gonna watch the fight and enjoy it. I'm not gonna cry about it.
Is that a yes or a no? Is that a yes or a no?
Do I think it's gonna be a good fight?
Yeah. Repeat the question. Repeat the question because you know what I'm talking about. All right, listen, caller. Listen, you're an anomaly. If you think you're happy with this card, you're an anomaly. That's all I can say. I don't know if you're doing it for shock value, if you really feel that way. But listen, I can't tell you what to do with your money, man. It's yours to spend.
Everybody else go with these narratives. I actually look at it and break it down. That's why I can give you an analogy and you make my point with an analogy. Because we haven't seen the fights yet, but I know most of these fighters on this card. So I'm like, this has the potential to be a good card because I know all of these dudes' styles. I might not know every single person, but most of these dudes on this undercard I know as great fighters.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. After this, so that's what I'm saying. So after this fight, After this fight, you look. After this fight is over, you're gonna go, man. The fights were trash, but the names were good, so I'm happy. That's essentially what you're telling me.
No, if the fights are trash, I'm gonna be like the fights was trash.
No, but now you're contradicting yourself. Now you're contradicting yourself because you say, well, it's about the names. Now you're agreeing with me. You're saying it's about the fights.
I never said it was about the names. I said
You did. You gotta rewind. Listen, caller, you gotta rewind, man. You gotta rewind the call because that's what you said. And now you don't want to admit. You don't want to admit that. Yeah, this card is trash. So you're just trying to double down. Listen, at the end of the day, this is your money. You can spend it whichever way you want. But I'm just saying it's a weird call. That's all I'm saying.
You said a card with Lara, Danny Garcia, Caleb Plant, and Rolly's trash. I never said a card with all them dudes is trash. That's what you said.
It is trash because again, you said you wanted to break down the fight, be analytical. Okay. Hold on. You said you wanted to break down the fight, be analytical. Lara, caller, please. Lara, who's in his 40s.
Might be sad.
Lara, who's in his 40s, taking on Danny Garcia, who hasn't fought in over 2 years. That's a fight that you're looking forward to.
Yep.
Okay, well there you go. So you got low standards then. Just say that. Don't tell me, I'm a real boxing fan because I can appreciate it. You're happy with Danny Garcia, who's inactive, taking on a 40-something-year-old Lara. And you're happy with Caleb Plant, who hasn't fought in over a year, taking on a nobody. Just say, I got low standards. That's it. All right. Well, listen, caller, I think we got to the bottom of this. Well, yeah. Well, maybe. We got to the bottom of this. And listen, it was a good call, though. I was just trying to get to the bottom of it. But thank you for your call and call back next time.
I'm excited.
You got some interesting takes. All right, man. Take it easy, man. Thanks for watching. All right, man. Yeah, man.
What's up, BDA?
Listen. Who's here? What?
El Tanque, bro.
Oh, El Tanque, man. What's up?
Hey, man, I have to agree with that caller, bro. To me, they're decent fights. They're no worse than what the Turkey did. I mean, the Turkey gave me... Listen, the Turkey gave me... The main event was the greatest of all time, Crawford versus a dude that had 9 fights that nobody knew about.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people couldn't pronounce his name. The co-main was Usyk Cruz giving a title shot to Rayo, coming up from 35. His last 3 fights, he was 1-2. I don't understand how he got a title shot. The fight under that, we got Andy Reese that was in a 2-year layoff as well against, what is he, 36-year-old Gerald Miller. And then we got Martin McCauley. Nobody knew him. Absolutely nobody knew him. He gave us Jared Anderson, the next great American heavyweight. I thought that card wasn't supposed to be pay-per-view, bro. I mean, the name value was cool, but the fights were not. You had it was a stacked A-side type of card. To me, it's like no different than the Canelo one, man.
Thank you. I disagree with you. All those, almost all those fights were 50-50. Andy Cruz versus Burgos, or not Burgos, the Mexican guy he fought. That wasn't a 50-50 fight. But then you had Kalajdzic versus Cuban Morel moving up. Yeah, first fight 175 against a tough opponent, and you saw that it turned out to be a good fight, a good competitive fight. Anderson versus Bacoli. You said nobody knows who Bacoli is, but well, maybe you didn't know who Bacoli is, but plenty of boxing fans know who he was.
I had him by knockout, bro. I actually had David Morrell by knockout too. I was surprised that he didn't look as good as I thought he was going to look.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so you knew who. So I'm saying for that the card was good. You're telling me, he wasn't that good, but then you know who Bacoli was. So how can you say Bacoli versus Anderson wasn't a good fight?
No, it was. It was, right? But I didn't know who he was until like a week out. I went and did my homework, and I was like, damn, this dude is knocking him out.
Okay, but then, so that was a good fight. The only one I agree with you is Luis versus Miller. That should have been that should have been put first in the card or something, because that was boring, man. 2 fat pigs going at it. You knew it was going to be it had a high chance of getting boring. Madrimov versus Crawford, yeah, to the casuals who didn't know who Madrimov was. But if you actually, like I was trying to tell the other caller, it's about the context. If you look at Lara versus Garcia, you go, oh man, those are 2 names. But then you realize Danny Garcia is not a middleweight. I don't think he's ever fought at middleweight. And I don't, even if that fight against one-legged Benavides was a 160, the one-legged Benavides is not a middleweight either. So how's he getting a shot at Lara? And how does Lara have a title in the first place? So a Danny Garcia, who's not a middleweight, who's coming off a 2-year layoff, taking on Lara, who's in his 40s. That to me is not a good fight. I don't care if they have the names. I don't care if they've done huge pay-per-view numbers. It's not a good fight. It's a trash fight.
Damn, you're gonna laugh, but I think that's the best fight on that card, bro.
Hey, maybe it will be competitive just because Lara, since he's old, and Garcia is gonna have the benefit. It's gonna benefit Lara that Garcia is old. Hey, maybe it makes for a good fight. All I'm saying is it's got high chances of not being that interesting, especially overall in the grand scheme of boxing. I mean, are you excited if Lara wins this fight or Garcia, the winner of that one against what? Adames? Are you really looking forward to that? I was like, man, I can't wait to or Ortiz versus Bohachuk, for example. I'm looking forward to it because I'm thinking, hey, the winner of this fight might get Terence Crawford. I'm excited to see what happens. The same doesn't apply to Garcia versus Lara.
No, I see what you're saying. The only thing I give Garcia versus Lara, bro, to me is more of a legacy fight for both guys. Because to me, I feel like Lara is probably the best Cuban fighter I've seen in forever. And him beating Danny and adding another name to his resume, bro, that's for his sake. This is some legendary shit for a Cuban fighter like that. And on Danny's resume as well, just name value.
There you go. I mean, hey, listen, that's what I was trying to tell the caller. If you're just paying for name value, and then the fights are trash, what are you gonna say after the fight? Hey, man, at least those were some big names, man. I'm amazed that I got to watch those names. Is that what you're gonna say, or are you gonna say, man, those fights were trash? They should have never been. I shouldn't have paid for that crap. That's what I'm saying. There's high chances that that's what's gonna happen, and that's what I was telling the caller. Ultimately, if he wants to take a chance with those fights, fine. They might end up being more competitive than we expect, but that's not the point. The point is these fights, there's nothing on the line, big on the line for either guy. There's no outside the ring context that makes you think, whoa, whoever wins this fight, that the stakes are high. That's what usually makes the fights exciting too. And then on top of it, like I said, like Caleb Plant versus this nobody, that's probably going to turn out like when he fought that Subway guy. Remember that dude that was posing naked for Subway? I don't know if he was posing naked for Subway, but I mean, he was posing for Subway for pictures. So, yeah, man, it's not... I'm not looking forward to that one at all. I'll still buy it probably because I have to for this channel, but I'm not looking forward to it at all. And by the way, we got another call.
Real quick on the Virgil Bohachuk, man. I heard you guys breaking down the styles and stuff like that. Man, I got it going 12 rounds, just like I had Madrimov going 12. I didn't pick Madrimov to win. I had Terence winning, but still going 12. This one, bro, I give Bohachuk a lot of high chances of winning. The Virgil's upper body movement, bro, to me, it's a waste of movement because, pun intended, it's waste movement, but it's just when he's walking forward. Because in the pocket, that dude eats a lot of punches, bro. I watched his Maurice Hooker fight. That's the only dude that was taller than him and had a longer reach. And when Maurice Hooker stood in the pocket with them and exchanged with them at the same time, now, Virgil was eating a lot of punches, which is not good to me, bro. And then Michael McKinson, he came in first round, gangbusters, and put him on wobbly legs.
Yeah.
He hurt him that first round. Who else, bro? Kev Velasquez, another dude that put the pressure on him. And then, he has a lot of knockouts, but he doesn't have one punch knockout. He overwhelms fighters, a lot of small fighters. And he stops them late between 7 to 9, 10 rounds. And these are small guys. This is why I'm giving Sergey Bohachuk, the advantage. He's the bigger dude. He has a very, very good jab that not a lot of people are talking about it, bro, but he has a very good jab. And he showed me that since his loss to, what's his name, the dude that stopped him, he's gotten a lot better. Virgil has not shown me anything new, bro. That's the same Virgil that I've seen fight for a few years already.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, man.
Like one dude has shown me evolution, the other one has not. Probably because he hasn't faced opposition to show me that he's evolved. But this Ukrainian's gonna bring it out of him, bro. He's gonna bring out the tools. The speed factor. A lot of people say Virgil's faster. He can be faster, but the other dude is a Ukrainian. Like I said, those Eastern European fighters, bro. To me, they're very dangerous. They are very technically sound. A lot of people thought Madrimal was going to throw a lot of wide punches and Crawford was going to knock him out. That was not the case. He kept that shit tight, and he was very smart with it. And I believe Sergey is going to do the same, bro. Because I saw an interview where they asked him, "Are you going to stand in the middle and just do your thing?" And Banging is like, "We're going to fight smart." I believe it's one of the trainers. He was saying that we're going to fight smart. We're going to fight behind the jab and use our reach. It don't matter how fast Virgil is. If Bohachuk establishes his reach, bro, he's going to have a long, tough night of 12 rounds with the dude that just throws a lot of punches from first bell to the last, bro. I'm excited, though. And I'm also excited for tonight. Y'all should tune in to see Ayala and Apolinario for that super flyweight title.
I thought you said, wait. Is that tonight or tomorrow?
No, that's tonight, bro. ESPN
okay.
Plus.
All right, fantastic. Yeah, check it out, man. Two undefeated guys going at each other. We're going to take another phone call here. Hold on a second. Let's go to 323. 323, you're on the air. 323, what's in your mind?
Pucho.
Pucho's not here, man.
Oh, I thought you were Pucho, my bad.
So what's up, man?
Honestly, no, I'm playing, man. Hey, real quick, the caller from before the one you just took, I feel like both you guys had some good points. I feel like y'all are both right. I'm not really sure. No one should really be. I don't really see people being too excited for that fucking undercard. I mean, I just don't really get. I understand that it's Danny Garcia, Lara, and but I just don't really. He's getting horny for the undercard. You know what I'm saying? I just don't understand. What the excitement is there? I get, it's boxing, cool. We'll watch boxing and appreciate it, but at the end of the day, it's not the greatest card. It's not a good card at all. So I mean, obviously other than the main fight, but even then, I don't know.
Well, listen, I mean, it's subjective at the end of the day, I suppose. Because I remember one time I got into it with somebody in the comment section that was telling me, because I was saying Vladimir Klitschko was boring. I said most of his fights were boring because he was clinching, throwing few punches. I said that to me was boring, and a lot of people concurred. Even HBO concurred with me back in the late 2000s. That's why they stopped showing a lot of Klitschko fights back then. And I remember somebody was arguing with me saying, well, no, hold on a second. The guy sells out in Germany, blah, blah, blah. And I said, yeah, well, the Germans are fucked up in the head. I'm sorry to say. You gauge a country and a culture by the pornography that they put out. And the Germans and the Japanese have notoriously awful pornography. Just some of the worst stuff. I got a huge collection. I'm kidding. No, but I've seen my share of German and Japanese porn. Yeah, I think it had something to do with losing World War II. I think it screwed them up for ages. So the fact that they like Vladimir Klitschko fights, whereas the rest of the world doesn't, it was a debate about value judgments. Did you really enjoy those fights? So if this caller wants to, that's why I told the caller, fine, you want to spend your money on that, that's okay. But you have to realize that you're an anomaly. Most boxing fans who look at and analyze the undercard and look at the context of the fighters go, this is a trash card. But if he wants to buy it, that's fine.
Exactly. I mean, and people are spending their money on a fight was supposed to be a major fight, and it's just one of those things. Sometimes it just doesn't warrant that type of, excitement, or people are spending their money, especially nowadays. Pay-per-views are getting close to $100. It's like, what the fuck, People are expecting, just a major card, exciting fights and things like that, and it's just not it. So right. I don't know. That's pretty much it, man. That was my call.
All right. Thank you for your call, man. Take it easy. Thanks for watching. For calling, for watching. Yeah, but the caller also mentioned something about you don't remember the Haney Garcia on the card. Therefore, you made my point. I'm thinking, well, so we can agree that there's bad cards.
90 seconds.
What the fuck already? Hold on a second. Man, the phone lines are going to close already. Okay, if you want to call in, you got a minute and a half left, fellas. So call in. Make sure you get your calling right now. So his point was, well, you don't remember one card, therefore this one isn't bad. And I'm thinking, no. I asked him, what was the last time he saw a worse card than this one? Because I wanted to get some context about what he finds trash. That wasn't the whole point. Second of all, if you actually look at the Haney Garcia card, they had what's his name, Barboza versus some Irish guy. I forget the Irish guy's name, but he was good, and he actually ended up giving Barboza the business, and they gave the decision to Barboza, which has to be one of the bad decisions of the year. But it was a surprise. So just that matchup alone on paper was better than anything they've got on the card for the Berlanga one. But again, some people,
Yeah.
I mean, but you know what's interesting though? He sort of gave himself away when I said something about the PBC. And he said, "Oh, y'all are PBC haters." I said, so now he's touchy about the PBC, i.e., he's probably a PBC fan. So essentially, I think that's all. That's what it came down to. He didn't want to admit that the PBC card is trash.
Yeah, is the caller still on? I'm sorry, I didn't want
Nah,
to
man.
interrupt him. I think also isn't the pay-per-view, in my opinion, it's a balancing act. Like the main event.
Fuck, sorry about that.
If the main event is exceptional, then I can do without a good undercard. But if it's a mid-main event, then the undercard has to be stacked.
Excellent point. Excellent point. See, that's what they used to do. They're starting to change it now in the last 2-3 years. But it used to be back in the 2000s and 90s, more than 2000s. They had De La Hoya in the main event. Let's say De La Hoya Mayweather. And they knew that was going to sell, so they just packed it in with a horrible undercard. Because they knew, I think Bob Arum even said that. Bob Arum said, listen, the casuals are going to pay for the main event. They don't care about the undercard. So we just, because they're paying too much money for the main event too, on top of that, the promoters. So they skimmed on the undercard to save money. They put on some horrible fights, mismatches, and they're golden. They still make their money. It's a business decision.
Well, can I chime in on what, one last thing on that caller that you guys were just talking about?
Sure.
Because what I do agree with what he was saying was that we need to see that Canelo versus Crawford fight, and who knows if Canelo can win, bro? Maybe Crawford outboxes him. We just got to see. He's pound for pound number one, bro. We got to see. it.
No, it shouldn't be that way.
That's because Silver still wants to see that fight, man. He still wants to see it, and we know why. And it's not because he really believes Crawford can win it. Let's just put it that way.
It's to see who the real pound for pound is, BDA.
You think I'm going to buy that one? Come on, man. Give your head a shake. Let's keep it a buck, as I like to say. The other thing I want to say, speaking of Crawford, Crawford's been acting a little rambunctious these last couple of days. He just came off a win, and yet he's acting like something went wrong. Like they stole something from him or something. He made fun of Eddie Hearn. He put up a picture of Eddie Hearn on Instagram and said, because he put a photo of Eddie Hearn looking gloomy, and Crawford put a caption saying, "What's wrong, Eddie? What's the matter?" So Eddie Hearn replied, "Oh, nothing. I was just thinking about how a guy with 11 fights kept hitting you with right hands all night long." And then Crawford replied with a long ass post saying, "Yeah, but you don't know about greatness. You're mad that I'm 5-0 against Matchroom." He just went on a diatribe. Then he was on that Sean Zittel show talking about how Canelo's afraid of him. Then Canelo was with Eddie Hearn earlier this week for promoting the Berlanga fight, and he told Eddie Hearn, "Hey, how come you guys kept talking about me the past week for the Crawford-Madrimov fight? Why you talk about me when Crawford's the one fighting?" And Eddie Hearn said, "Well, we got to sell the fight." So this is what Terence Crawford had to say a day ago about that. "I thought it was disrespectful for Eddie Hearn to lie and say we had to use your name to promote the fight." Okay, first of all, it's not disrespectful putting a photo on Instagram of Eddie Hearn looking glum after his fighter lost against Crawford and then asking him what's wrong, like rubbing it in essentially. There's nothing disrespectful about that. But Eddie Hearn pointing out rightfully that Crawford doesn't sell, all of a sudden that's a lie and it's disrespectful. Well, what do you guys make of that?
I think he's being a crybaby, bro. Like when you said he was, he's on his rag. It's like someone stole something. Yeah, I stole your pay-per-view, bro. I wasn't buying that shit. I'm not supporting no air grab. And the ticket sales show, bro. That's why he was upset.
Well, look, I dislike when boxing events fail because then that just means that my favorite sport ain't doing all that well. And it doesn't look good for the future. I mean, if the Sheik disappears, what's going to happen? Crawford's demanding $10 million for fights. No one's going to give it to him. Nobody can have... there's few promoters out there that have the infrastructure to make that happen on a long-term basis. So I'm not happy about this, but it is. But so I just want to make that clear because when you point out the fact that Crawford ain't a star, people go, "Oh, you hating?" I mean, it's the truth. The statistics show. I mean, the facts show that this event didn't do well either at the pay-per-view, at the box office, or at the gate where they started giving away and slashing away the prices of the tickets.
Yeah, BDA Crawford, he just looked weak. Look, man, there's been fighters that have been adored that were not the best. You know, Arturo Gatti, people loved Fernando Vargas. You know, people actually like people that get beat up, believe it or not, in boxing. You don't have to be so-called the most skills and the pound-for-pound best. People can like you just because they like what you give in the ring. Had Crawford got knocked down and still won and knocked out Madrimov, people would have fell in love with them. But they didn't. They didn't like the fight. You can't make people like you. You can't tell people how good you are just to make them like you. Mm-hmm. So he's definitely ultra sensitive. And you got to leave it, you let your fist do the talking. Leave it in the ring. That's what I was waiting for. Leave it, I want to see a guy leave it all in the ring. When he leaves the ring, his face is busted up, but he's holding his head high. And this guy didn't do that. You've seen his face busted, him looking down a lot. He wasn't confident, and it's showing.
But you know what? That's a great point, Frank. And then on top of that, somebody's saying Al Cuerpo Boxing is making a fantastic point here. He says, I thought Turkey was publicizing that Canelo fight, that Canelo should take the fight with Crawford. Obviously, Crawford and the Turkey had plans with Canelo. That's a great point. Turkey, Al-Ashik, was talking with Chris Mannix in between fights. They talked for a good 10 minutes. They kept bringing up, Crawford Canelo. We hope to make Crawford Canelo. I'm thinking that was even before Crawford beat Madrimov. So did Crawford take that up with the Turk? Hey man, you're disrespecting me by bringing up Canelo's name. And by the way, Bohachuk also kept bringing him up. And I know for a fact, maybe I have to find the specific clip, but I know that Crawford was talking about Canelo. He didn't shut down every question. I think he did talk about Canelo. And even if he didn't, again, is he going to reprimand Bohachuk? What's he going to do? Is he going to send him to bed without the third sandwich? How's he going to punish Bohachuk? He's got to reprimand him. He's got to strain him out for talking about Canelo.
No more Cheeto bags. No more Cheeto
bags. no more Nacho Grandes, man. At Taco Bell. I mean, yeah.
Make him walk in the parking lot.
Nah, make him walk in the Yeah, take him in the parking lot. Make him do circles around the parking lot. No, I mean, but I'm seriously. I mean, look, everyone was bringing up Canelo. The Turk brought up Canelo. So what is Crawford going to find that disrespectful? And again, Crawford was the one that went at Eddie Hearn after the fight. So now Eddie Hearn claps back, and this guy can't take it. It's like don't dish it out if you can't take it.
I see there's a whole lot of projection. Go ahead. Thank you.
There's another Mexican that I believe Crawford can fight, and I believe he's gonna lose to him too, and that's Jaime Munguia, bro. I would love to see that fight.
Yeah, well, that's 168 though. That's 168.
I mean, what other way to get a Canelo fight, right? Go up there, try to knock out the dude Canelo didn't want to knock out.
Yeah, that's true.
And then ask for a Canelo fight.
Well, that's what some people were saying, hey, why doesn't he fight David Benavidez? Now, I heard somebody say, well, the Benavidez and Crawford did negotiate, but it didn't work out. They couldn't come to an agreement. Oh, so when they can't come to an agreement, that's fine. Just, let them walk their own way or go their different paths. But when Canelo can't agree to something, it's his fault. He's avoiding the fights. He's scared. I mean, I don't know. I think people look too much into this. But let's continue on with this Crawford thing here. He said, Crawford said, we didn't use Canelo's name to promote shit. He's trying to stay friends with him, talking about Eddie Hearn. But it's disrespectful to me. Again, who went at whom first? It wasn't Eddie Hearn who went at Crawford first. Anytime they gave me any question about Canelo, I shut it down. So for him to say we had to use his name to sell the fight is disrespect. Well, I mean, somebody else in the chat brought up the fact that Crawford got paid. Yeah, that's what Crawford should be saying here. He should be saying, hey, I got paid and I walked away with the win. Instead, he's whining about being disrespected. I think, Frank, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think he was expecting, after the Spence fight, that he was this big star. Everyone knew who he was. Plenty of people were talking about him. And now he realized that Spence fight did very little for him to move the needle and to become a pay-per-view and box office attraction.
That's the thing, man. Look, man, fans are going to love who they love. And you fall in love with the fighter in the ring, pause. And Crawford, this was the same thing with Andre Ward, and now you see with Shakur Stevenson. People don't like your fights. They don't. They're not memorable. You didn't leave it all in the ring, and for me, that's what counts. Is the guy who leaves it all in the ring. When, even in a loss, a guy you can say, "Hey, man, he gave it everything he had," and that's what they said. How Madrimov lost the fight, and I agree. I can say, yeah, Madrimov. You know what? You didn't do enough either. Mm-hmm. But to say Bud Crawford, he's still this guy. Even I didn't see him leave it all in the ring. I didn't see him take the risk needed to win the fans over.
Exactly. I mean, you know what? I disagree with the last part. I think he did try at the end. He tried to turn on the afterburners, and what happens to old fighters happened to him. He doesn't have, at least for this fight, he didn't have the afterburners anymore. There wasn't as much.
I disagree with that, BDA, because he still ran in the last 30 seconds, bro.
Yeah, but
he should have went for it. How come he didn't go orthodox like Morales did against Pacquiao and just went into the Lions Den? Why didn't he do that?
Oh, I think he did, and then he realized, shit, I don't have it anymore, and that's why he started running. But I mean, you want to pin that to be Crawford still has it, so that because you want to see him fight Canelo, man. I know what's going on.
He beat him 9-3, bro.
Well, somebody in the chat is quoting Andrew Ward, and supposedly, did Andrew Ward say that Crawford won every round?
Sean Porter,
something like that.
Sean Porter was fucking horrible.
I know, man.
I think that's what Shakur Stevenson said. He was like, "You were casual if you didn't see that as a landslide victory for Crawford."
I know Chris Algieri and what's the other white dude that does a podcast with them?
Mannix.
They were saying
that.
No,
not Mannix. No.
They were saying that Sean Porter shouldn't be up there scoring the fight. Both of them said that. They're like, we love you as an analyst, but the way you scored that fight is like you had it 12-0. He's like, that's horrible scoring. And I agree, because Sean Porter, man, the commentating was horrible. He was licking the lolly. He was licking a corn husk that night.
I'm gonna go ahead I'm gonna play devil's advocate, and I'm gonna say that maybe he was trying, because ever since Jim Rome came on the scene in the 90s on ESPN and Fox Sports and all that, what the sportscasters are looking for now is controversy. They want guys disagreeing with each other on the telecast. Like, I have this guy winning. No, you're crazy. So I don't know if maybe Porter was doing that just to spice things up. I mean, I would hope he did, because at some point he had Crawford winning 9-1. And I said, that's outrageous. You're a professional fighter. You're an ex-champion or titleist, whatever. You really don't know how to score fights? You were that mesmerized by Crawford's meat. You were mesmerized by the pull, by the sexual energy that Crawford has over you, that you couldn't score the fight. I don't know. I just thought it was weird, man. I just thought it was weird. And plenty of people did as well.
It's insulting. It's insulting because the way he justified it, even after being told that he was full of shit, is, well, you don't know what you're watching. That's the most cliche thing, right? Well, you don't know what you're watching. What do you mean, man? These people are paying. There were people booing the fight. They have a clip. The Zone has Shakur getting mad at people because they were booing the fight.
Yeah, I mean,
go watch it. But they say, oh, you don't know what you're watching. Well, these people paid a lot of money to be there. They're buying the fight. So they're obviously hardcore if they're watching this fight. So how can you tell people they don't know what they're watching?
Exactly. And listen, now they like to say, YouTubers, they talk about narratives. They talk about narratives. They don't know what the boxing is because they never boxed before. First of all, they don't know who on the YouTube boxing community has boxed before. That's just a cop-out that they're using to because they can't really address and refute the argument, so they just go with ad hominem attacks. Well, you know what you're watching because you never boxed before. They try to pull rank. But first of all, that's been exposed because, I mean, guys like, and I've said it before, guys like Thunderdome, who I know Never Sobers loves. Thunderdome, I hate to say it, but to toot our own horns, but here at BDA Boxing, we've been on for 7 years. Look at our track record when it comes to predicting fights. We must know something to be able to predict fights. And even when we get the result wrong, we still gave you the alternative views or alternative timelines of how a fight could go. I rarely pick one guy and go, that's it, I'm picking this guy, there's no way the other guy can fight. I usually try to tell you how the other guy can win. And sometimes when the upset happens, it happens in the alternative prediction that I gave. So that whole thing of, you guys don't know boxing, that doesn't wash anymore because there's plenty of YouTubers out there that are making great predictions and know what they're watching. So if they really want to be honest, just have an honest conversation and sit down and address the points. Don't go with the ad hominem attacks and, I'm going to pull rank and I used to be a world champion and you guys weren't, so shut the fuck up. I mean, sorry, that's lazy argumentation, and it's dishonest too. It's intellectually dishonest. I want to read a couple of super chats here real quick. I think we're about done. Shout out to... Who did we miss here? Pugilist Zine. Shout out to Pugilist Zine for his contribution with the super chat. He says, hold on a second. He says, who wins the big fight tomorrow? Lindolfo Delgado or Brian Flores? Lindolfo passes the eye test. I hope a win for Delgado gets him a title shot. Yeah, you guys looking forward to watching Delgado?
Yeah, he's a big, strong puncher. He's had a couple lackluster fights.
Right.
So he looks a little like skinny fat, typical Mexican, like not defined, kind of a waist. I don't know. He might lack dedication, but he's definitely strong and has a punch.
There you go, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. He, like you said, he has gone the distance a couple of times in the last couple of fights. He doesn't look like a puncher, but it's apparently Rick Merrigan, who's his manager. He said a while back that they were working to get him on the actual televised cards. So that appears to be what's going on here. So it's do or die for Lindolfo Delgado. It's his time to shine, and I don't know how far he can go. We'll see tomorrow, because I'm not convinced about his abilities just quite yet.
That's an upset tomorrow. That's my lock upset for tomorrow, bro.
Flores versus Delgado? I mean, Flores over Delgado? Bro. There you go.
Brian Flores looks really damn good under Tony Brady as his strength and conditioning coach. And there's someone in another Discord I have, bro, that he visits gyms, and he had some good info. He said I got to see 30 rounds of Brian Flores sparring, and that dude is relentless. Really,
interesting.
He's like, good luck trying to knock him out, and good luck trying to make the dude move backwards. He's like, he's gonna be in your face all night. And Lindolfo did not look very good his last fight versus that Al Albañil de Tijuana. That dude came, bro. That dude came in the first 5-6 rounds. He was putting hands on Lindolfo. I think the 5th or 6th round, Robert tells Lindolfo, what's going on? You haven't figured him out yet? What's taking you so long to let your hands go? He can't do that with this dude, because if he can't stop him, bro, that's an upset. And again, Robert won't be in his corner. Robert's going to be with Virgil.
Oh.
He's going to have little Robert, which I don't trust. But I like that fight for an upset, man.
Interesting. There you have it. You have it first right there. El Tanque has inside information here on Brian Flores. The guy is a go-getter. He's going to come forward relentless. And I don't know if Delgado, he's saying he doesn't know if Delgado has the skills or the power to keep him off of him. So stay tuned for that one, fellas.
It should be a really good fight.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it now more than ever. Now that you mentioned everything you said there about Flores,
he's from right here. Well, he's from right here, from where I'm at, bro. He's a local from Ciudad Juarez here in El Paso. So he's around here. I gotta support him as well. But I do. Before I found that out, bro, I did have him for the upset.
Well, there you go, man. Good to know, man. Shout out to Rafael Garza for his contribution with the super chat. He says, Soothsayer got captured by the banjo-playing man up in the Appalachian Mountains. Deliverance style. Oh, boy. Are you saying they're making him squeal like a pig right now? Is that what you're saying? Shout out to Soothsayer. Hopefully Soothsayer is A-okay. And hopefully his ass is untouched. Shout out to Brown Gun 1 for his contribution with the super chat. He says, Turkey boy can't buy Canelo with a bag of money. BDA. Yeah, man. I mean, hopefully they end up getting together and actually making some fights happen, because I'm getting tired of this, the Berlanga card, for example. I mean, we can't have too many of those, man. It's ridiculous. Shout out to Ed Perez for his contribution to the super chat. He says, Turkey wants Canelo to fight Crawford in February so he can steal Cinco de Mayo from Canelo. Bud is overrated. Well, I would say I've been saying it for the last couple of years that he's a little bit overrated, but he's still very, very good, and it's going to be very difficult for somebody to beat him. I think Canelo beats him, though, and I don't know if it's going to be that difficult. Shout out to Rider of the Storm for his contribution with the super chat. He says, how many fights have we seen that are 50-50 only to be a huge mismatch? Rolly versus Barroso was a mismatch that turned out to be competitive. Whining or winning? I don't know what he said. Well, yeah, that's a good point. That's why I was telling the previous caller. Well, not the previous one, but when we were going back and forth about whether Berlanga Canelo card was trash. I was saying, look, you can have younger guys who are lesser names who are going to put on more competitive fights. Because, for example, Charlo versus Jose Benavides Jr. was a trash fight on paper, and it turned out to be exciting on when it happened, but it was sloppy exciting. It wasn't exactly world-class opposition or world-class guys fighting each other. It was just that both guys sucked so much that they made for an entertaining sloppy fight. But I guess again it's a value judgment. It's not an objective fact to say, well, this fight is entertaining or not. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, I'm not willing to pay for that card for what it is on paper. But hey, cross your fingers and you hope that it's a good fight, man. Why not? Shout out to M.A.W. for his contribution to the Super Chat. He says, fact is accomplishments and popularity don't always line up. Actual boxing fans appreciate quality, while fanboys only praise their favorite fighters. Well, that's the story of that's been true since time immemorial when it comes to boxing, especially in today's YouTube social media era. People love to big up their fighters. What else do we have here, fellas? Well, I think that's about it, man. We've been on for about 2.5 hours here. Anything else you guys want to say before we move on?
I think that this Virgil fight will make him a star. I think if he puts on a scintillating performance, Bud Crawford won't have to look far for a mega fight.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Oscar said he would like Tim Tszyu and then Crawford. But, yeah, Virgil has a chance to become a star. And if he loses, I don't know if Sergey becomes a star, but he would be a good opponent for any of the top guys. Looks like Earl's going to be fighting Pandora still. Tim Tszyu is fighting that Muratayev guy. But 154 stack, man. So Bud doesn't have to look far for competition. And that's my fight of 2025 is Virgil, if he's successful, versus Bud Crawford.
There you go, man. So we're going to keep our eye on Saturday to see what happens there.
I think Virgil.
Yeah.
Real quick, I think Virgil's gonna get his ass beat. There's no star gonna be born tomorrow. If anything, Virgil va a salir estrellado.
Oh.
De todos los putazos que le va a meter el flaco.
My goodness. So people that don't know what he's saying that Ortiz is not a star. He's gonna get starstruck, and he's gonna go down, and it's an upset tomorrow. So you're picking a bunch of upsets tomorrow.
Yeah, but it's because, bro, Virgil, like I said, bro, he don't have one knockout punch power. Like all these dudes. The last dude I believe that he knocked out pretty quick was Mauricio Herrera, but bro, he was around 40 years old at the tail end of his career.
Uh-huh.
And then all the other step ups were round 7, round 8, another round 8, and then Michael McKinson took him 10 rounds to stop him. That doesn't show me anything, especially his last 2 fights, bro. He fought 2 dudes that were coming up in weight. One dude had a mental retardation, and then the other dude looked like a hobo.
All right, well, there you have it. That's one way of breaking it down. I will say that Ortiz is a 3-1 favorite in this fight. So it's a close fight on the books. The bookies have this one as more. I mean, listen, just for to compare it, Madrimov versus Crawford was 7-1. Crawford was a 7-1 favorite. This is 3-1. So it's expected that this is going to be a little bit more competitive than that one. But I suspect it's going to be. I think if Ortiz shows up the way he's always showed up, I think he takes out Bohachuk in under 6. But yeah, like El Tank is saying, there's a lot of ifs going on here for Ortiz coming into this fight in his career. So we'll see what happens. Hey, I also want to say something here before we go. The Olympics are winding down. We had, I don't know if today was the last day of Olympic boxing, but Jake Paul says that, again, America failed to medal gold this year, I believe, or at least amended. And Jake Paul said that he's tired of that. He recently said that, and that he wants to get into the Olympics. I don't know. Yeah, first of all, he's not good enough right now to make it into the Olympics, but he's going to try. And some people are saying, though, well, wait a minute. If he really wants to make sure to win gold, if he wants to secure a gold medal, give himself every chances, he should compete in the women's division because they allow that now. So some people were saying that Jake Paul will be fighting in the Olympics 4 years henceforth in the female division. And I wouldn't be surprised if from here on in, let's say in 2026, for example, at the midpoint of the next Olympics, all of a sudden you start seeing Jake Paul talking about how he's trans. At first, people are going to think he's trolling because that's what he does. But then he's going to really start coming out with the wig and the hormone. And then, next thing you know, 2028, he's in the female division of the Olympic Games. Do not be surprised. Do not be surprised. That's about it then, fellas. Want to thank you. Want to give a shout out to.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for coming. By the way, sorry. I Am Your Leader asked the question, what happened to Open Lines Fridays? Well, we're working on securing a better line of communication for Open Lines Friday, meaning that the way the sound passes through, because we're using, I don't want to overcomplicate things, but when we speak on a Discord that's populated by, let's say, 10 people, all of a sudden our connection goes down, the quality. When people speak over each other, our volume goes way down. So it's hard to maintain order with the insanity that goes on Open Lines Friday on Discord. So we're working on actually acquiring hardware to bypass some of those issues. And once we do that, we should return with Open Lines Friday. So what we're doing here right now is a different format, like a 50-50 format. We invite people that aren't usually, regular panelists, but we still keep it like, a little orderly. But at the same time, we're inviting new people, new blood, see what happens, see what percolates. So that's what we're doing. And then we open up the phone lines too since the beginning of the show to get your calls and get your input on that. So, I Am Your Leader is a guy that I know is orderly. So I Am Your Leader. If you're listening, and if ever you want to jump on these type of Friday shows, just hit me up on the Discord and I'll put you in there. Same goes for some of the more orderly people on the Open Lines Friday. DM me on Discord if you want to jump on the panel, we'll get you on. That's about it.
You mean like Black Chibi and Rare Breed BDA?
Yeah, those guys. Yeah, if those guys want to jump on, I'll let them on. Like last week we had Mirage, but that was only after when we entered a specific subject. Because otherwise, if we're talking about Virgil Ortiz and we invite him on, it's going to turn into a Canelo show. So that's how we got to space it out a little bit. By the way, Lalo Soto Gaming, shout out to Lalo Soto for reestablishing his membership program. He says, BDA, with your new hardware, pair it up with Discord Nitro to boost up the audio in calls. Yeah, look, I looked into the Nitro boost a long time ago and to see if maybe that improved the quality. And the reviews that I saw, people in the message boards were saying that it doesn't really improve it all that much. But maybe you're right. Maybe that in conjunction with new hardware will improve the quality of the moderation. I don't know, hopefully. But shout out to Lalo Soto 13 Gaming. Really appreciate it. Good to have you. Still have you on board here on this platform. Well, listen, that's about it, fellas. Shout out to Never Sobers. Shout out to Frank Bay. Shout out to El Tanque for jumping in. Everybody who called in, always appreciate your phone calls, guys, and your input. Everybody that donated with the super chat, always appreciate that as well. And don't forget, you can check us out on iTunes and Spotify and Spreaker at your leisure. And we'll try to be back. By the way, a lot of people I know enjoyed the episode of the last time Dr. 805 called in, and we're working on getting him on for some of the future shows to focus on the nutrition aspect of what he was talking about, and also how it pertains to boxing, and maybe demystify some of the legends that are out there about boxers and altitude training, and maybe what doping entails, all that type of stuff that he can share his expertise with us in regards to those subjects. So hopefully people are interested in that. I know we had a lot of good feedback in the comment section of the last show he called in. So that should be good as well. I'm looking forward to that one. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Fellas, thank you for joining us again. We'll appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We'll try to be back this Sunday to cover the aftermath of Virgil Ortiz and, of course, El Venado Lopez too. We'll see if there's an upset between Ortiz and Bohachuk, or if there's an upset too between Angelo Leo and El Venado. Those are competitive fights, so let's stay tuned for that. Shout out to everybody in the chat. LL, M.W, Rafael Garza, Nightmare, Febado Cua, Alfredo Contreras, Protectorate General, Nerd. If I forgot any